There's no need for formal introductions.
Take two and go.
As many of you have been venturing together for the very least a few days, some of you, it's, as I said, it's been a week, perhaps two. And over the course of this short adventure that you've gone on in the town of Prim, you guys have managed to unearth this seeming plague that is swept across and corrupted the crops of this small village just at the edge of this forest, not far from the waters heading out to the larger ocean.
All right.
That'll do. After a bit of investigating, or perhaps even some failed attempts on part of Alyosha here, and the recruitment of a few others, Voltaire and Eric, you guys managed to uncover the cause of this corruption in the form of a small bullywug tribe not far off, making its habitat in a small underwater cave, an artificially crafted swamp that they seem to have been trying to administer across the entirety of this area, making themselves a new place to thrive and grow at the expense of our fair town of Prim here. Thus enlisting the help of Catherine and Drake, you guys have spent the last couple of days tracking down these bullywug, fighting your way through a small number of them, and eventually into this cave. You now stand as you have felled the last of these bullywugs. Shaman of sorts, decorated in a number of old carved bone necklaces and tribal rags. You stand at the end of their cave, many of you wounded and injured. Your garments and armor soaked through and through blood and water. As you turn to each other, these new companions that you've made over the last couple days, each of you still very much alive, the adrenaline coming down in the aftermath of this otherwise brutal combat. First time in the last couple days, there's a sense of relief that washes over you. It's quiet in the cave, damp, and there's a trickling of water that seeps down from the ceiling into the shallow depths you currently stand in. The water itself is stricken with blood from the dozen or so bullywugs that lie at your feet. But you're alive. What do you guys want to do?
Alyosha's gonna go around each of the bullywugs and kind of like do a kind of right over top of them, closing their eyes, doing kind of a ceremony over their fallen corpses.
We spent some time hunting them. How far out from Prim are we? Is that
not tremendously far? Perhaps a half day at most, maybe 15 or so miles, you imagine.
okay?
You managed to track them down among various small streams into a very, very small and shallow lake where they had managed to take encampment in a cave of such, partially flooded and more or less quaint for them.
And we literally just finished fighting them, or something.
No more than a few moments ago.
I collapsed on my back.
Oh! Well, that'll make for a fine tale.
Do you think you'll put it to a poem, or is it more of a dance, do you reckon?
Maybe a bit of both.
Nice, yeah.
I already hate him.
The rod. The thing that the creature had. Ty. The thing the creature had. The shaman.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with that? Where is it?
So, 1 second.
Oh god, there are 5 of them.
There's so many rods.
1, 2.
Catherine was the one who managed to land the killing blow on this shaman, and as he's upheaved the weapon from the corpse of the shaman, you watch as the body is more or less collapsed, a broken heap into the shallow water. The staff simply hits and kind of just floats adrift, slowly making its way further and further away from the shaman. You can see its long shaft is made from a twisting of branches. The top, a large, sort of greenish blue orb with a pair of fish intertwined around it in a similar fashion to the shaft itself. When he wielded it, there was a subtle glow that seemed to emanate from the orb, but now as it drifts along the water, it's dull. Spark no longer there.
Well, Baltar is going to reach out his hand, and I believe I have a mage hand. Yeah, he's going to just bring the staff towards him with his spectral hand.
Aye, be careful with that thing.
I'm careful, I'm not touching it. What do we do with this?
My vote would be to destroy it. Almost immediately.
Yeah.
Dude, he's Shiogarath.
I
He's
believe
what?
That's what's
He's Shiogarath
causing
from
the
Skyrim.
decay.
Oh man, that's
That's
actually
really-
not bad though.
Yeah, I'm actually.
If he can keep it up, I'll be on board.
It's pretty good so far. So.
And
Side
out of-
conversation is so distracting.
How does everybody look at the moment, ally-wise? Does everybody look okay?
Everyone looks fairly good, all things considered. Scrapes, bruises, there's a few cuts, especially on your two frontliners, but
I go around kind of tending to most of them and doing what I can to, if they require healing magic, to patch them up a bit, make sure we're all alright after that.
I'd be fine. I wrap myself up. Don't worry.
Well, alright. For sure.
little bitch.
I think we should probably be getting out of here, right?
We need to destroy that thing.
Yeah.
Well, we can destroy that outside. It's
Okay.
I'm gonna search some of the bullywogs. See if there's any booty.
I do think that the first thing we should do is let the farmers know they're safe to go out into their fields again. Safe to grow once more.
absolutely, but we're a ways out. We'll probably have to rest for the night before going back.
That's a fair point.
Yes, DM. Well, what time of the day is it?
It's late day. It's not quite nightfall yet. You guys followed the trail starting kind of early morning. Like I said, it was about a half-day journey or so. Well, take that back. It took most of the day given the terrain. But, oh no, you have a ranger. So yeah, took about half the day, and yeah, it's probably about late day by the time you've finished them up. But as you're in the cave, you're not quite sure how dark it is, and you've sort of lost track of time having battled your way through these caverns.
Well, now that
Alright,
we've
well.
cleared it out, I mean, cave is fairly defensible if we want to take stock
It's
of what's
also
here for the night.
damp and stinks of death.
Yeah.
It's also
Clean around the
I'd rather make camp outside.
cave.
I mean, these things probably scared of everything else around here, so I don't think we'll have too much trouble outside.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Will.
Is he still time muted?
I
didn't
said,
mute
the rod, do you think that it corrupted them, or that they corrupted it?
Something I'd definitely be keen to find out. I think we should have a look at it at least, if only to confirm that it was the cause of the problem.
I'm no expert on bullywugs, but to me, it's regardless, like two sides of the same coin.
No. If it is corrupted, if the rod is corruptible, then we need to look at it to make sure that it does not corrupt anyone else. If it was the bullywugs who corrupted the rod, perhaps the rod can be cleansed.
Okay.
Well, look, if we're all finished up in here, let's just head outside. I'll do my best to clean you up, and then we can make a camp for the night.
I'm with you on that.
Yes, let us leave the
Sounds
dead
like a plan.
Good plan.
to play.
And Drake, having gone from just body to body on these bullywugs, most of them are wearing what is essentially tattered kind of hide armor stitched together, various kind of bone necklaces and garments interwoven into the hide. They also have these very primitive, small shields, very jagged wood, again, bone kind of sticking out of it, sort of spiky fashion, and all of them also have spears.
I investigate some of the spears, see if they have any kind of weird kind of design on them.
Random. Nothing in particular. They're usable though. I mean, they're not the best quality you've seen. They look, well, I guess everything is, but they look kind of just freshly and crudely carved. The arrowheads themselves are made from, or not arrowheads, but the spiky point of the spear.
Pointy end.
The pointy end is it's for some of them it's a metal. It looks like they've probably managed to take this from caravans or something. It looks like something you'd find in a regular town, and others is kind of just hewn and carved from stone. But they all look fairly usable, if not even the best quality. But as for any strange designs, nothing in particular, just extraordinarily primitive.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, I guess we're heading outside then.
Like-
I'm still carrying the staff with my mage hand, just having it like drift gently beside me as I walk up. And yeah, I think we're just gonna first of all look for somewhere reasonable to make a camp.
Somewhere a bit elevated, where the water would have, from the swamp, terrain would have run down a bit.
Yeah, somewhere dry, easily defensible, and with good sights. That's all.
Sure. Whoever's got the highest survival, give me that with advantage, so everyone's kind of helping. I'm assuming that's the ranger,
It's-
but
Not me. I'll throw that up.
Yeah.
roll that one more time. Okay, so with you guys' kind of combined efforts, you managed to, especially having walked in here and being vaguely familiar with the sort of terrain you're in after the course of this week, you managed to find an area that's, I mean, the place itself is very kind of hilly. There's plenty of very shallow cliff sides, and you're able to get to some higher ground, away from the sloshy, upheaved area that the bullywugs managed to corrupt. And you get a fairly defensible position.
Alright, well, let's get you all cleaned up. Who's the filthiest? That's probably one of you two. I'm gonna start off with whoever looks the fucking worst. I'm gonna gradually move through the group and use prestidigitation to remove any dried on blood and dry out the clothes at least. Laying the staff down on the floor in the middle of the camp.
While you're cleaning them off, I'm starting to set up camp a little bit to the best of my ability.
Thanks.
It's quite alright. I'm gonna set up some wards around the camp, but first of all, do you need help looking over the item, Eric, or would you be okay with that?
You want me to look after it?
Well, I mean,
Perhaps I should look at.
sounds good to me.
Be my natural vote.
We can investigate later once we've got properly set up. So why don't you get some of that, some of those eggs on again? They were fine, I guess. They were fine.
Oh, I know you want to say more than that, but I don't want too big a head.
I didn't
Okay.
want to inflate your ego, that's all.
But yes,
They
not
were good for a surface dweller. I'm happy to say that.
I begin to, after having set up the camp, begin cooking with some of the salvageable farmland products that we've been able to acquire through our first adventure.
So I'm going to be casting Alarm, probably like 3 times, so taking around half an hour. I'm going to cast it in areas around the camp, just to get some general coverage. It's going to be a mental alarm, not an audible bell or anything like that. And also, Turul is going to be just perched up in a tree, keeping a watch for us.
I would like to, using eggs, onions, a few radishes and whatnot, I'm basically creating vegetarian egg rolls if possible.
Okay.
Just gonna build my tent and be in there, kind of
Just gonna
separated from the group.
I'm probably gonna build my tent, but it's just gonna be with everyone else, and I'll be tend to the fire.
Okay, so as each of you kind of goes about your own business, building tents, cooking, looking after the item, setting alarms, what have you, takes you around an hour altogether before everything is sort of fully settled in. The fire is a blazing hearth, and as you all finish up your own separate things and head back to the sort of log benches that you've managed to drag over to the center surrounding this makeshift flame, your fair bard here has a platter strewn out on large pieces of bark pulled from one of the nearest trees.
I've actually got like some plates and utensils and such in my mess kit for such a purpose.
Oh, perfect. So, still using the bark, I mean, using it as like a large tray to holster all the plates and everything on as you kind of move from person to person, offering up dish. Each of you sees these very finely rolled pieces of veggie and egg, and as the smell wafts into your nostrils, there's well, for those of you with homes, something reminiscent of a childhood long removed. Takes you back, and for a second, you forget the bloodshed and mayhem that you just went through.
You giving this to me?
Oh yeah, even if you're not near the campsite, I would walk a plate over to you.
What is it? Vegetarian?
Stuff I've been able to get by with from
What is that
local farm folk. Some salvage. Yes, vegetarian thing. I work with what I got.
Reminds me of home.
What the fuck?
Appreciate it.
It's fair, considering your home is pretty close to you.
Dude was a
I'm
fisherman.
not mistaken.
He's pescatarian at best.
Yeah.
Are there utensils with these?
Yes.
What is this for? I do not know how to use these. What are the purpose of these things?
What is it?
Oh well, it's actually quite simple.
Is Will
Where I
a
come
living
from,
person?
it's
He's
usul
a
for
dwarf,
stabbing
I
and
don't know.
leveraging to
I would imagine they have some kind of.
I know in some cultures they use other kinds of utensils, things that are useful for just picking and pulling apart, but
These are simply unnecessary. And I kind of just like toss them to the side and like start grabbing my food and eating it with my hand.
I go and I like pick them up out of the shaking them off, kind of wipe them a bit on some nearby leaves. Why would
You can use your hands. They're very perfectly made for this sort of thing.
Is
treat
Will
others
choppy
with
for you?
respect?
Sounds
I
real
put
choppy.
them with-
It is fine. It's just nothing happened to it. It's okay. It's all good.
You're right, you're right.
Well, not really. I mean, he's a satire bard.
He has got a point though.
He's
Why
not
don't
a
you eat
jester,
egg
though.
rolls with a knife and fork?
I'm not one to judge. I mean, if you want to eat it with those, it's totally fine by you.
I think I'm gonna take a leaf out of the corpse book. Actually, I'm gonna go fingers with this one.
Basically Eric.
Each their own. Yoshi,
He's a great Eric.
what have you found out about the wand? Assuming that you've looked at it over the course of this like hour or so.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Oh, I asked Alyosha, what's he found out about the wand over the course of the hour?
I have simply been observing it. I haven't actually looked at it. We haven't really had a chance to examine it. I was hoping that Voltaire would have a little bit of expertise in that.
I mean, if you'd like to assist me, I'd be more than happy to give it a once over. Maybe prod it with a bit of magic, see what happens.
Hey, oi, be careful with that thing. I live here. I don't want any more problems in this land.
No, of course not. But see, we should know what this is capable of doing, and it might be able to help
These
you.
guys are
Might be
real
able to undo the
hardcore.
damage. All right, so I guess with these guys helping me, I'd like to look over the staff.
Give me an Arcana with advantage.
While they're studying and all that, I kind of start playing a small tune on my dulcimer.
Yep. So everyone you finish eating, and then as everyone's had their fill, you make your way over to Alyosha and helping both of you, just laying it down, looking it over. You begin to study it, to mess with it, and try to understand it. There's this sudden racket coming from behind you, and it distracts you. But after a bit of time, an hour or so, between the two of you, you're Voltaire's into intellectual and book knowledge combined with Alyosha's sort of religious understanding of things. There's something definitely off about the weapon. You can't seem to replicate what exactly it was that the bullywugs were using it for. But nevertheless, you managed to, at the very least, get that same sort of glowing spark to ignite from it, and although more subtle in your own grip, there is a black bead, a tinge of darkness that you can pick out just in the center of the orb at the top of the staff. Something you didn't notice when you were fighting from afar, but here up close is more than visible. It's almost like a small, self-contained shroud eating away at the larger, bluish-green orb.
So there's something in here. I'm not sure that this was the staff's original intention or purpose.
So you believe that the bullywugs did it to the staff? Is that correct?
Possibly. It looks like someone tampered with it. There's darkness in here. A blot, a blemish.
I was hoping
Yes.
that was the case.
Like it'd be of some higher power.
I don't know. I can't decipher anything more. There is simply something wrong
Hmm.
with this object.
Aye, it rattles me bones. Destroy the thing.
Do I have any indication that this is something that could be easily
I'm
destroyed?
drinking it so I can laugh.
Like, would simply like snapping the staff do anything to it? For example, would it render it useless, or would something more extensive be required? Like, in my opinion.
Give me an intelligence check. It's okay. It's close. Given your knowledge and the things you've seen in your schooling of just magical items in general, which you safely assume this is, given the situation, you can't imagine that breaking it would simply fix the problem. You imagine it would, one, be fairly hard to do, but even so, just looking at it, it doesn't seem that the wood itself is any relation to the object. It is a simple casing for this orb, and that it is the orb that is very likely the center of this power. And from what you know, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be easy to destroy.
Alright.
What was it corrupting him, like you said?
Yeah, it could have been, and we don't know if the bullywugs did this, or if it was simply an object they found and put to good use, but whatever this is, the staff itself is not important. It's merely the orb at the top. We could remove it entirely, it'd still function perfectly well.
Hmm.
But destroying it, I think, might be difficult at best. It's certainly beyond my expertise. This isn't something you just smash with a sword. This is a protected item.
I was hoping that was not the case. That means we will have to carry it around.
Can you not cleanse it?
I don't think so. I don't think I have the knowledge to do such a thing.
Right?
I'm sure that there are others who would, but I do not.
Can't destroy it.
I would like to take a little bit of time to detect magic on this object. I want to see if there's any indication of what the specific corruption is. Like if there is, if the entire object is sort of resonating a single kind of aura, or whether it's like there is a necrotic blemish in the middle of this thing. Basically, I'm trying to ascertain whether or not I could remove this thing from the object, or whether it's become the thing.
Okay, so as you kind of lay this item back down and
I can't hear you, man.
push talk. So as you lay the item back down and really begin to dive into it using detect magic, you imagine, as you kind of assumed, that this item, it's not really the original intent, that this blemish inside is something being done to it, something added. Given what you know, you're not sure if you personally could remove it, but you imagine that with the proper knowledge, time, and objects, items necessary, materials, that it could be done.
Well, I suggest we probably remove it from the staff anyway. We can wrap it up tightly in a cloak, some cloth, keep it away from anything that, you know, it could hurt, and then we'll have to seek out somebody who knows a bit more about this. This is not really my area of expertise.
Could we like try and tie it to kind of like a almost like a hammock of sorts, and just like kind of hang it from a limb, so it's like kind of away from the ground, any other potential actual plant life, but also kind of away from any of us.
Absolutely, whatever you guys want.
I don't think it should be near any of us for too long. If you're still worried about it corrupting people,
I'm not sure the object can do anything by itself. I think it's one of those things that you would need to activate, honestly.
okay.
But I mean, there's no harm in being cautious.
Well, I trust your judgment in this matter, Valter.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Fucking Palantir.
Drake, you're around. You're from around here. Do you know of anyone who might be able to cleanse this orb?
Do I?
What's the question he asked?
Can I try and roll to remember if I do?
I mean, Prim itself.
Get pushed to dark.
Prim itself is it's a very small village, barely. Some refer to it as a town, but even so, I mean, it's barely the case. There's, to your knowledge and your experience and having lived here and grown up here, no one of any sort of magical expertise who lives in Prim.
No, I don't recall of anyone that could. Maybe my old dad, but my old man, but no, I wouldn't know. Maybe we go by a nearby village.
Well, if we travel north for a few days, we could enter Fairmore. There's a school there. I trained there. There are a number of very powerful mages there who could help us deal with this. Or there is South Hollow, I believe. There are probably people there also.
That'd be quite a sail.
I think these schools hold promise. My humble opinion.
Yes, Vermore sounds like a good option, especially if there are those trained in the arcane.
Yeah, there are maybe over a dozen staff there at the moment. It changes, but I'm sure somebody would have the expertise to do something with this. And there are also several towns along the way. We might run into someone out of sheer luck.
True. Very true.
But for now, I think we should just keep it secret. We tell the farmers that everything's fine and move on. We don't leave this object here.
Don't want to scare them with any unnecessary things.
We can't let this be going into any wrong hands, so clearly we have to hold on to it.
And let's not tell them it was the Bullywugs. I don't want the Bullywugs to get unnecessary aggression used against them, especially since we do not know why they attacked in the corruption in the first place.
Well, I'm sure it's not too big a problem, as they're kind of dead now.
There may be more. Are you think that those the only tribal polygons in these woods?
You have a point. I'm just thinking in this area. I don't know.
Well, okay, Alyosha, what do you suggest we tell them?
We just tell them that we found some sort of, some sort of corruption, and we took care of it, and that's it. And we did, and we are.
That sounds fair enough then. Okay.
Doesn't cause a panic.
Well, it's been quite a long day. Would you say we turn in for the night, head back to town, first thing in the morning, tell the farmers what happened, and then, or at least all they need to know, and then we can make our way north.
Sounds good to me.
Aye, sounds like a plan to me.
I'd like to just keep at this for a little while, so I'll stay up and do first watch if you don't mind.
I'm a bit of an early bird, so I wouldn't mind taking last. We're setting up watches for the night.
I have cuts and bruises, but I can watch after.
Okay, well I'll come and get you up after I've done meddling with this.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. I can handle myself. I'm not too hurt.
Right.
I'd be fine.
So yeah, like basically I think we're all just gonna go to bed. During my watch, I'm gonna have like Turul doing most of my washing for me. And I'm gonna be first of all removing the orb from the staff in a safe way. Just gonna do some like last minute checks to see if I can ascertain any more information. I'm not expecting to actually get anything out of that. It's just what he would do. And that's me for the night.
Okay. So you got first watch. Drake has second. Is that right?
Yeah.
Third and fourth.
Oh,
Just
Eric
wait
is
whenever
fourth.
you want it. Oh yeah, he's.
I guess
I'll
that's
be third
third.
then.
Okay. So, both are doing your first couple of hours lording over the camp. Your alarms set.
Yeah, we're not. What? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
The fire sort of dwindling out at this point, if not altogether doused. You spend that time slowly, carefully using your magic and just previous experience, or even just texts that you've offhandedly read. Nothing that you hold any sort of expertise in, but nevertheless, things that you've managed to recall. You managed to pry apart these two interwoven fish that make up the mantle, the clasp, the hold for this orb, and as you carefully pull it out using the mage hand to a great extent, you're able to slowly but sure over the course of those 2 hours remove the item from its holster.
Cool. I wrap it up in any loose material and I place it in a bag. Yeah, I have a satchel, so I'll put it in that.
Okay. You finish that and head off for the night. Drake, you awaken for your couple hours of watch, just tracing around the exterior of the camp, keeping a keen eye out for anything that may be moving. Anything else you want to do? Who's that? That ain't Jenna, dude. Get the fuck back here.
No, that's it.
All
Keeping
right.
a good eye, watch, and everything. Any movement?
You see, you keep the far reaches, the edges of the camp, circling around, and to your knowledge, there's nothing out of the ordinary. The leaves of the trees sway in the cold wind that sweeps through the valley, but nothing that particularly alerts you. As your few hours of the watch ends, you go to wake up. Catherine, was it?
Yeah.
Catherine, as you likewise make your way up, watching Drake head off to his tent that's positioned a fair bit away from the rest of yours. You similarly start to patrol the camp, keeping an eye out. Anything you want to do?
I'm just gonna patrol, and I take out my monster manual, and I write about what I learned about polywogs today.
Okay, so you give it a quick sweep around the camp, and then assured that there's nothing in the vicinity to cause any sort of concern, you find a spot, a stump of a tree, and pulling out your journal, flip to a blank page, and start carefully writing up a new entry on these frog-kin creatures that you just encountered over the previous couple of days. As you finish that up, rest and your weary state kind of clutching at you, you go and wake up Eric. One day.
Whatever.
Arrivederci.
I'm gonna go ahead and, as soon as I get up from my watch, get ready, kind of run my leathers, get myself ready. Take a quick gander around the camp. And then after a bit, sit down, kind of keeping half an eye, but also kind of thinking to myself about a story that could relate to the bullywug incursion and just desecration of the farmland that we've just solved, and having it relate like metaphorical notes to the corruption of true nature versus society for those that may be interested. Trying to entice different crowds to this particular story that I could potentially tell, but I don't get anywhere near enough to completing it yet. But I begin to think about it.
Okay. So you spend, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, like an eighth of your watch, literally just preparing for the watch. You get up and situate yourself, and it takes you a minute or two to make sure that your belly's actually as full as it needs to be. You're content for the time being, and you yourself, give it a quick look around the perimeter, but as your watch is continuing, there is the glow of the sun as it starts to rise up in the distance cascades, and you feel relatively
as
safe.
it begins to end, the end of my watch, I'll go ahead and start preparing some food for the start of the day for our party once they awaken.
Yeah, so you first spend quite a bit of time putting thought to this new story, and then as these first rays of sunlight dip into the forest, you begin to just pan out into the surroundings and gather what small berries and herbs you can muster, and anything you might even have left over from your departure from Prim.
Mm-hmm.
And begin boiling up something tasty in your saucepan or whatever have you. As you're boiling that up, however, you suddenly hear this ruffling in the trees, good 40, 50 feet away from you, northwards. It stops almost instantaneously.
Kind of take out my light crossbow bit around, see if I can find the source of movement.
Your perception.
Not very good at these.
So you pull out your crossbow, leaving the food behind as it sizzles and steams in your pan, having created probably a new fire at this point as well. And as you kind of move your way to the edge of the camp, looking out, you hear a secondary ruffling in the leaves, but as you peer in that direction, there's nothing.
Recalling that Drake was kind of good at tracking the bullywugs, discovering things, I'm going to go over and wake him up a bit. Hey, Strike. Strike. Gonna use a cantrip light and put it like right in front of his face. You're muted, by the way. We can't hear a single thing you're saying.
What be you need?
I think there's something out there.
Okay.
I'm so excited
Go.
for this campaign.
Not
I
sure.
like face away from
Not
him.
sure if sarcasm
And
or.
I put my mask on. And I go out there, grab my pike. What? Where?
Was he still using the pike? What is this guy?
It's over this direction, but I didn't get a good look.
He doesn't want to be good.
Busy
at the
making
game?
some grub.
Did you try shooting at it?
Don't know what it is. I didn't see anything.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, there's people being
Well,
murdered here.
that's to address it. Avast ye landlubber.
What was that?
Wait, what the fuck?
So, Alyosha, as you awaken, I mean, you can see Eric clearly has his crossbow out. He's awoken Drake at this point, and both of them are sort of scurrying over to the northern edge of the encampment.
He probably just assumes they're going to hunt something and just continues with whatever he was doing.
I don't leave the edge of the light of the fire further. I stay within light for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, the forest is pretty lit up with these early rays of sun, but you stay within the perimeter of this orangish glow that the fire is letting off. As both of you reach the edge, there's no sound that ruffles with the movement of the leaves this time, and no shifting in movement that you can see.
Alyosha says, "Don't stray too far from the camp."
It's probably just a wild animal. I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Well, it's about time to get up anyway, so... Even if it was a wild animal, though, probably make some stuff out of that. Depending on what it is, of course.
Then why do you ask me for help? Why don't you just approach it yourself?
Didn't see it. We talked about it.
Belter has definitely not awoken, by the way.
Fine. Go back to making some.
Face down the bedroll right now.
Yeah.
I go back to cooking.
As you turn around and both of you make your way back towards the encampment, there's this sudden as something moves through the leaves and just slams into the ground. Both of you immediately whip around to see this. Alyosha, you hear this even from the distance. It's just on the outside of the encampment. You turn around, you see this small but bulbous green form. Immediately recognized as a bullywog. Eric, what exactly does this bullywog look like?
What'd you say? I was lagging. I didn't hear you.
Said you were lagging.
Did Eric hear me?
I'm not sure he did.
Eric?
I thought he was like puzzling over it for a moment.
So
and
did
was
I.
like, But then like nothing came out.
So this just looks like a regular bullywug?
It is a regular bullywug, but as you turn around and look at it, what does it look like to you?
What does it look like to me?
Yeah.
I don't even know what a bullywug looks like.
I kind of immediately yell back to the rest of the group.
Little frog.
Frog person.
They've come back for the wand! Everyone up!
Did he even answer me?
No.
I was hoping that's not the case. Get up! Get up! We're under attack!
And I kind of step back towards the camp, still keeping my light crossbow trained on it. Not firing yet, but trained on it.
Well, I'm gonna immediately grapple it to the ground, make sure it
It's
stays prone.
literally already on the ground. It's crawling face down, and as you move towards it and yell towards everyone, you see it clearly no weapons in hand. There's a long trail of blood caked into the ground behind it and slowly pouring outwards as there's a large gash going from his shoulder, past his clavicle and straight into his chest, and just he slowly starts just pulling himself towards you.
I've run up by this point.
Yeah, all this noise has jolted Belter awake with like a bit of an undignified, startled sound, I think. He's immediately jumped to his feet and just like mage armored the shit out of himself. It's like, what's going on?
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds. No.
That's a touch spell, so you're getting all up in there, right?
Yep.
You have no idea.
He's putting his fingers in the wounds.
Yes, I'm gonna. Yeah, no. Just kind of lightly lay a hand on this struggling form, and
So as you like move to approach it, hand glowing, you see the bullywug's like shift its weight away as best as it can, as one arm is relatively useless from the large carved arc headed into its chest. I mean, its shoulder is kind of slogged off partially. And it's just as you,
please, it is good. It is good. Good.
his eyes kind of widen and as the magic cascades over him, and you see the wounds slowly begin to close up. Still a relatively large gash there. I mean, as you do this, as everyone gathers around, more than a couple of you immediately recognize this as one of the ones you've killed in that cave. The wound clearly coming from a sword cleaved straight through. I think there's only one of you holding a sword.
Hey, sorry about it.
He's like,
As the wound slowly closes up, the thing.
I thought you said we were under attack. What's this?
They're coming back for the wand.
hey,
Let's
it
let's not jump to conclusions.
Then what's it doing here?
I just don't know.
be the enemy. Don't heal it.
It has not
Finish it off.
shown any aggression. Until
He
it
said
does.
it's probably coming for the wand. Let's
He
finish
said
it
that.
off.
No.
I mean, if it was trying to do that, it's obviously a suicide mission. This is one of the ones we fought, right?
Yes.
I
think so.
Yes.
Slaughter that bitch. Like
Can you
animals.
hear us?
You see, each one of you have been talking, and with it healed, it's sort of kind of, it's still laying down, but it's slouched its weight, so that's now fully on the other shoulder, and it's kind of almost sitting upright. And as each one of you's talked, its eyes, large and bulbous, blinking, it's just looked between each one of you in turn. But I mean, you can tell. I mean, it's not comprehending anything you guys are saying, and it's slowly kind of scooting back, trying to do so without being noticed. But on more than one occasion, it's allowed this very similar, just.
We should communicate with it.
Sounds like me when I've had too much rum.
I don't know how. I
Does it understand us?
don't think so.
Don't think so either.
There are spells to do this, but I never really found a need for them, unfortunately.
Maybe it's trying to port to other
Sick wireless, am I right?
bollywogs.
So good.
We were
What
wondering.
in its quiet, whispery groans?
You need to get that new one, dude.
No, it works for someone, clearly. Maybe there's another shaman in the area.
He would have gone to the shaman, not to us.
He clearly doesn't know the way. He probably saw light.
I mean, he is almost dead, right? I mean, you.
He was
I don't.
rolling over now. To think about it. I kind of put up my.
Perhaps we should time to a tree.
But he was dead.
Situation.
Well, obviously, you were mistaken. He must have just been nearly dead.
Hmm.
Do we want to check back at the cave?
I don't know.
The other
I don't have the.
pollywogs might be alive.
I don't have the stomach for slaughtering.
As you guys have
Non-combatant
started to,
sort.
Eric, as you've put away your bow and some of you have lessened your fighting aggressive poses, he's slowly begun to kind of get back up onto his feet. He's in a low kind of crouch as he lifts himself higher, very, not necessarily defensive, but wary. You can tell, even as he clearly looks confused between you, and as there's a pause or a lull in the conversation, all of you just stare intently at him. He kind of grips his two hands together, clutching, or mimicking the clutching of a long shaft, and kind of nods his head towards his.
You don't understand us, do you? And I try that both in common and then again in halfling.
Just blinks at you wildly and no
He's
comprehension.
He's clearly after the staff. Give him the staff, not the orb, the staff. See if that works.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's just in the middle of the camp right now, so.
Yes.
I
Does-
say we
does
do
one
what
of you-
Catherine said.
Grab it.
Yeah, I go pick it up. It's fine.
Tie him to a tree or something.
Wait.
No.
This guy's so
He's
metal.
no threat. I mean, he tries anything,
most-
he's dead within a
it's the most
second.
metal.
It's- I mean, I'm literally giving him a stick. This does
Fucking
nothing.
edgelord, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. He's riding along the edge.
Hold it in front of him, like getting some confirmation this is what he wants. And if he
And he
responds,
kind of just like
Hi.
reaches his arms out for it, and then like retracts, scared that you guys might do anything, and then slowly like takes one step forward.
well, I put it on the floor in front of him. I don't even give it to him. I'm not gonna.
Okay, as you put it on the floor and retreat away, kind of very carefully moves in towards it and kind of grabs it and quickly moves back, and you seem to expect it, but clearly his vision moving up towards the top and not seeing the orb, he immediately looks up at each of you, drops it and makes like a like motioning towards something at the top.
Yeah, gesture like I don't know what he's talking about.
I give him a rock.
Perhaps that it is a normal part of his staff that has been corrupted. That
We
would
can't
make
give
a
the
lot of
corrupted
sense.
staff back to
No,
the
we
ones.
can't get him the orb. We're going to have to. Wish we could say something to it. God.
I kind of motion toward him, make like a staff-like gesture, and then make like a hands cupping as if it was the orb, and then I go.
Give me a performance with advantage.
$18.
As soon as you like make this performed explosion, his eyes widen, almost impossibly large considering they're already so wide, and he just kind of takes a step back. And then his shoulders just slump down and he falls to his knees.
He clearly thinks we destroyed his orb.
I'm trying to like almost like sign language to him, but it's very just simplistic gestures. But I kind of like cock an eyebrow and shrug my shoulders at his saddened state, trying to basically question why. I don't know if you understand.
I kneel down in front of the polywog and I start just drawing in the sand, like drawing letters and symbols in the ground, and I like kind of point to him and like point to the ground.
What are you drawing?
Just, I want to see if you could write something to me, I could read it.
He looks between you and the ground. There's like no seeming comprehension, but he looks back to Eric, and as you have this inquisitive look to you, he slowly picks himself back up and grabs the staff. As he does, he clutches it close and blah, 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 blah. And you see that even though you don't understand what he's saying, there's this almost calm that washes over him the longer he speaks, and eventually he kind of just bows. Very, I mean, it's this weird kind of elongated bow, and then he takes a step towards you, blah, 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 holds up the staff, and then turns around with it and slowly begins making his way off.
Goodbye.
Shouldn't we kill him? Stop him? Something?
No, he's fine.
No.
Find his
One
way.
bullywug with a stick. I mean, he's not doing anything, is he?
Perhaps he's accepting that he does no longer have a god.
For the record, they were not like actually like attacking people, right? They were just corrupting the land.
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less. He gets maybe...
Yeah, they didn't hurt anybody.
And as you guys are watching, he makes it maybe 40, 50 feet away and then stops. You hear this distant... kind of slams the staff into the ground upright, reaches down for what looks to be a small, roughly orb-shaped stone. He kind of lifts it up. That echoes throughout the encampment. He then reaches back down and just starts pulling leaves from the nearest shrub, long reeds, and wraps the stone, and then forcefully jams it into the head of the staff. Pulls the staff out and like kind of almost halfway dancing in place, and then begins like almost hopping off.
It's very sad.
I rush over and I just throw a net over him.
Jesus Christ. This is like at the same time. Hold on.
How far away is he?
He does that. At the same time that he puts the leaves and the rock on it, I want to use light on the top of the staff.
Everyone is like
Cast a very
super
small
sad.
light.
This guy's just like net.
Is it far enough for light? I thought it was like within.
Light is touch.
Capture that
Light is
thing.
touch. Oh, never mind.
No, he's like 50 feet away right now, so...
Okay, no.
I should have been able to see, right? To see him, like, do this.
Oh, you guys can all see him. I mean, there's rays of sunlight pouring in by this point. So yeah,
I mean,
you immediately...
I don't want to fucking up my land.
I mean, if he goes to
The
start
second
running
you
off
try,
towards
like,
him, yeah, we'll be like, whoa.
No.
Let it go.
It's just
Are
a
you
rock.
sorry? Are you doing anything, or are you just saying "whoa" as he
Well,
runs
like
up
putting
with
our
the
hand out
net?
in front of him.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, he's like 50 feet away. The net has a range of 10 feet. He's going to have to run over there. So like, if he tries to go running over there, we're like, whoa, stop! What are you doing? And like putting a hand out in front of him, it's not like a just whoa. How is that? It was off camera. That's why I was like,
It's not like the Dragon Job. Whoa, like take it, man.
All right, so yeah, as you kind of have to go back to the camp. You grab your net, and as you go running towards it, the rest of them, or at least a couple of them, immediately stand in front of you, trying to hold you back. What are you doing, Greg?
He's clearly trying to ruin the land more. We should stop him.
It's a rock. It's a rock.
Do we know it's a rock? Maybe it's like another orb.
It is
Maybe
like
there are more
me.
orbs in this
that-
area.
It
If
is
they
like
can make it that
What is
easily,
his intelligence?
this land would be fucked regardless of what we did. So I would not give it any thought for that.
At the very
I'm gonna,
least,
like, I'm just go down. I'm gonna pick up a rock from the ground. I'm just gonna like pick up a bit of grass and just like really lazily put it around. It's like, here you go, Drake. Go and fuck up his land.
Stop mocking me.
He's got an
But he
intelligence
is like
of 12.
the,
That's
some
above
sort
average.
of religious symbol or a power source for these individuals. He thinks it will do something for him, and it won't. This was probably, and he kind of like points to wherever keep it aware that that back there is probably corrupted, but it was probably a genuine source of importance to them. So it's just a rock.
And here's the thing, just little food for thought. If we ever do get it cleansed, maybe it's not all that bad.
From my understanding, it's not. It's just been
Corrupted.
corrupted. It's not its real intention. I mean, this blemish in the center of it, it is corrupting and changing what this magic does. Okay. I imagine this was probably something of cultural importance to them, something significant for when they live by the water, and
He's a fuckboy, dude.
maybe this is something they did out
Straight
of
edgelord
desperation.
fuckboy.
Okay, this is. It didn't hurt
The
anyone.
very best of his kind.
And yes, you've lost a few crops, but we don't have to go and bag them all up in nets and slaughter them back at the village, do we?
We have their tool that they used for this. It's safe to say that they can't do it anymore. Things like this don't just turn up every day.
I try and see what the Bollywog's still doing.
Yeah, and as everyone's been talking and you kind of eventually peer over the shoulder, you can see he's gone another 10, 15 feet or so. He's jammed the staff back into the ground, and he's now like pulling more reeds out of nearby shrubbery, and you see him kind of twisting them together, and after a minute or two, he's got almost like a full circle, quite long, multiple of them, and he's just like putting them over himself and stewing some sort of leafy tunic that's gone over his already really tattered and bloodied clothing. And yeah, he kind of festoons himself a twig necklace, and he's really just making garments for himself. And he does this
He's
for
a new shaman.
Is he still kind of hurt?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with Alyosha's heals, there's clear. You see him kind of twisting things, but the shoulder that's been cleaved into isn't working properly, and you notice him putting far more strain on the other arm as he's crafting this various gear.
Alright. I won't attack him. What's for breakfast?
Oh, well, it's quite nice, actually. I've had a little bit of diced onions, a little bit of berries to go with it. It's kind of like a mixed fruit salad, really.
With onions, though.
I like to experiment now and again.
I will take your word for it, Eric.
Sometimes it turns out all right, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the nature of trying.
I whisper to Voltaire as we're going to head back to the camp. If it is a normal part of the Bollywog, that means something else corrupted it. We don't know what that is.
It's entirely possible.
We need to keep an aware eye to see if we uncover anything on our way.
Hey, you guys don't have to whisper. Like, if it's really all that bad, you can just let me know.
It is.
Oh, it was.
It is very bad.
I wasn't going to say it, but there it is. I'm sorry.
So
Constructive criticism, and I appreciate it.
That's my favorite. Best.
Wow, you hate pineapple on pizza that bad.
As all people should.
Gordon Ramsay thinks it's disgusting.
It's really not that
I
bad.
love pineapple on pizza. I don't
And that's why you're a filthy hoe bag, Eric.
Unfortunately, I now know how Eric is gonna die. Oh.
They need to get over people like you. Like, gee, right.
For the record, I genuinely enjoy pineapples on pizza.
Well, you can live there too then.
Fuck.
All right.
Right. Well, nevertheless, you
Cool.
guys.
So as we eat his interesting onion fruit salad,
Let me a check with your cooking utensils.
So it would just be a d20 plus 2?
If you're proficient.
well, it depends.
Yeah.
I am.
Are you gonna have a skill? Is it a skill
I'll
based?
let you use wisdom. You're not. I mean, Yeah,
Oh, that's
I mean,
Nick, don't do that.
You're
That's
experimenting here, and this is kind of just like using.
Would it be intelligence?
No, I mean it's not tried and true yet. I mean you're really using your street smarts here.
Okay, but so just to clarify then, crafting and creating certain pre-constructed meals would be like intelligence then.
I mean, we'll go on a case by case basis. I mean, if you're pounding hamburgers, we might use strength. You know, if you're trying to finesse some nice long silky hot dogs, that might be dexterity.
If it's wisdom, it'll be pretty bad too.
If everyone's vomiting and you're trying to convince them it's good, that might be charisma. So we'll just take it by, you know, case by case. As I think how tools are done anyways.
It's much better than they would at first seem if it does turn out to be bad. But okay, so wisdom you said?
For this one.
Wisdom +2.
That's actually all right.
It's not bad at all. I mean, you guys are hesitant as you guys kind of get settled in, and out of the corner of your eyes, I mean, you guys go and sit back down, and for the next like 5-10 minutes, you're trying to strike up conversations, but you can't help but notice the bullywug is still in the distance. I mean, he's kind of circling around to another quadrant of the camp, still about 60-70 feet away, but you can see him still every once in a while, just this distant echoey, and like you look over and he's still festooning more stuff around him, and at this point he's looking like a boss at this point.
It is incredibly distracting.
But nevertheless, eventually Eric comes back around with his platter and plates and starts handing things out, and as he reaches Alyosha, he kind of stops for a second and just takes the silverware off before handing you the plate.
Don't need that.
Much obliged.
And as he sits down, and all of you kind of look at the food with the onion, and it smells not too good. And you're hesitant, and your lips are curling, and it's nostrils flaring, and it's just not good. You take a bite, and I mean, I don't know who first takes a bite, but there's a resounding sort of and then you can kind of stare at this person, whoever it may be. You can all decide in your own minds. And then you take a small bite yourself, and almost unanimously there's this
That's pretty good. Before I take a bite, I say, perhaps you'd want to feed the Bollywood.
Ooh. Yeah, get me another not
around these parts, I'm sure. Look, he's
no
off
blood
collecting
orange,
right
anything but that. Actually, get me the ace. It should be on the
I
side.
don't know what he's doing. I wasn't trying to curse.
The fuck, dogs?
It's sort of superstitious ritual.
My personal opinion, I think, is that he's trying to become the next shaman. But that is indeed a rock he's tussling up over there.
But who's he trying to convince? There are no other polygons. It's just
Maybe there are. Like you said, maybe not the only tribe.
Yeah, but we killed all the ones in this area, except him. At least I thought.
Maybe it's just a cultural thing. Maybe that every tribe needs a leader, a shaman, and he's the last one left. The responsibility falls upon him. That's all.
And maybe if we ever can get this thing done, we could go back to
Thanks, mate.
I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, we'll discuss it down the line. Speaking of the object, we're going to be heading out of town, Drake. So, I mean, there's no obligation for you to come with us. I know this is your town. You live here.
It's fine. I fully join you guys, willing to go on a journey. So.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to come along if you want to see this through. Make sure that we don't do anything wrong with it. That's certainly fine with me.
No complaints there.
I like that one, dude. He's
It was rather useful.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this baby boy.
I'd be
I
ready.
mean, you gave him cares. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, his rage.
All right, good.
Someone gave me delectable treats.
Catherine?
I would not be a dick afterwards.
Are you of the same mindset?
Catherine.
Rend.
Call me
Rend.
Out of character, how do you want it to be pronounced? How do you want it to be pronounced?
Catherine.
Hey, Kathy. How you doing?
No.
I literally said
Dog.
but like the D is
Rend for short.
the D right after the N makes it kind of like almost like a combined sound. Catherine.
I mean, we could put a simple apostrophe between Cath and Rend, and that would help tremendously, I think.
Probably.
I got you, dude.
Yeah, could you beam that on there?
It's just about how you want it pronounced.
Simon.
Simon.
Yeah,
I just
that's right.
Funny.
Simon Ebenlock. It's just spelled weirdly.
Bunlock.
Ebenlock.
That would be a Catherine Ebenlock.
Alright, so we finish up our interesting.
It's not even fair, though. I mean, I feel like with the new name, that's not even the worst of them, right? Like, Eric Selbeliaf is probably worse.
I think the first name has to be Rich, though it not.
I mean, not.
It
Kinda
literally
like
looks like rich
burning
to
them.
me. E-rich.
Right. Well, yeah, I think we finish up the interesting fruit salad and onion, and I think we're just going to be heading back to town, right? Everyone is on board.
Yeah,
So we found ourselves some farmers.
to let them know that their crops are once more growable. They can continue to tend them without fear.
Hopefully,
Except
there's
for
enough of them.
pests.
Okay, so you guys, especially after a pretty long night of rest, having bandaged up your wounds and received healing from various party members, you're feeling quite a bit more rejuvenated. And after this encounter with the bullywug, who, man, he's there for. I mean, even after you lose sight of him, you can just periodically hear this echoing, and like it just. It's, and
He's going to get eaten by a bear. There is no two ways around this.
it's
Okay?
it goes on for probably an hour before you finally stop hearing it, and you slowly begin after eating your breakfast, which is surprisingly good. You start packing up your own stuff. You feel rejuvenated. You're awake by this point, no doubt about that. And you guys make your way back towards the village of Prim. With Drake's knowledge of the area and his general kind of tracking and traveling skills, it doesn't take you too terribly long. In fact, you more or less travel at a pretty slow pace to reach it by the end of the day, or even halfway through the day, as he manages to get you around various shortcuts and bends that take you out of the thick of the forest and more along the sort of unbeaten paths. Unless there's anything you guys would like to do within that 8 or so hours of travel.
I will.
No, I think it's okay.
As we walk back to Prim, I'm trying to keep eye contact, like, away from anyone there.
That's what I think of the Bollywood voice. Like,
Oh my god!
Yeah, I can only imagine how.
If
Like,
it was deeper, I could. That's probably more the shaman. It just needs to be deeper. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen Phantom Menace. I tried to watch it maybe a year ago, and I couldn't get 30 minutes through that movie because it is so bad. It's not even. I didn't even get to Jar Jar, mind you. It was literally just bad storytelling. They just skipped from scene to scene with it. No fucking context.
You don't have any fucking context.
It was
Yeah.
horrendous. Just
I can only
Can we just
imagine,
get-
like, you're trying to
Just
come
give
up
me
with this
2
story.
hours of Darth Maul and I'll be happy. Let me just see Liam Neeson's and Darth Maul fight for 2 hours and I'll be happy.
2-hour action sequence.
Yeah, that made that movie.
What do you
It's
mean?
such a shame actually because Qui-Gon
A
is
2 hour
a
action
really
sequence
good
isn't even
Jedi.
that long. I've seen Mad Max Fury Road. That's what it looks like. And that movie was good.
That is so true, by the way.
That's such a good popcorn movie.
I wasn't actually that thrilled by Mad Max Fury Road for the record. I thought
Either. It's just a good go turn your brain off movie.
yeah, there's no story. The story was, hey, let's travel to point B and then go back to point A. Wow.
And I'm pretty sure that Mad Max himself probably had about 20 words total said in the entire movie.
That's pushing it.
Yeah.
Get up! Witness me!
Anywho.
It's literally the best line in there.
On our way back, I would like to question our... Oh, no. Probably don't in the past. I was going to say, like, in the past, I probably, before we even started dealing with the bullywugs, asked Catherine about his prior experience with bullywugs.
I've never
Yeah,
really
hard.
had
No.
Much experience with bullywugs, but the ones I encountered were not
so
so violent.
They live in kind of a peaceful swamp, or was it more of a nice-looking lake, or do they usually live in decrepit terrain?
We lost
The
the
ones I
D.
encountered were a lake system, but they were not.
I can still hear.
I can still hear you.
Just curious. I'll start whistling a
So odd.
long marching tune.
All right.
Similar to the tune of The Road Goes Ever Onward.
Well, I don't have anything particular for the journey back, so once target's back, farmers.
Farmers.
Farmers. Fucking farmers, man.
Filthy normie farmers.
Normie.
Because farmers are such rational people. Like,
Fuck,
Like,
this
we'll
ace
see
is
how-
so good, dude. It's too much. I need to
well,
buy
they
more.
take the fact that, oh, we took care of them.
Fuck, it's good. I gotta buy the berry one next time for sure.
It's just a green dragon. Casual. No big deal.
I could
Oh
maybe
my.
convince that.
So, a little bit back and forth, probably between all of you. I mean, this is the first time any of you have been. I mean, shit, the first time you traveled towards kind of tracking, your attention was very much on locating these bullywugs and the sort of mission at hand. This time, as you're moving slowly and intermingling one another, really just getting to know each other for the first time. It's peaceful and calm, and the trek back is... it's good. It's quaint. Until Eric starts humming, and then it's just shit.
Can I make a performance check for that?
Sure.
Okay.
Come on, one.
Halfling luck. You want me to roll it too?
Oh shit.
You all want to be annoyed by it. You really do.
I think it's the
An
DM. Really.
earworm, isn't it?
But, I mean, it's good. I mean, he's able to hold the melody in a tune, and eventually it just creeps in and you can't help but join. And suddenly you're all singing The Road That Never Ends, whatever the fuck you said.
The road goes ever onward.
That's the one. But you guys travel throughout the remainder of the day, and as the sun slowly begins to dip behind the canopy of trees to the whatever side they dip on, I'm drawing a blank. Too many A's. East, right? Yes, east. This is a fantasy world. Sun sets on the west. Whoa. No way,
Oh.
really.
The earth spins in reverse.
No way. As you guys,
Way.
as the sun begins to dip over the canopy of trees, you start to see just in the distance a break in the trees as unfortunately the corruption begins to seep in. The ground becomes less firm, more sluggish and murky. It seems better than it was when last you trekked it. Whatever you did, clearing out that cave, managing to reverse some of the effects, but it lingers even still. And as you maneuver your way through what used to be the farmland, the crops, and the vegetation, it's barren and wasted away at, and what used to make up the livelihood and the income for this town is still desecrated.
I knew we should have hired a druid.
As you move your way
Look,
through
we
it,
tried.
there's
We tried, Eric. Okay, that guy was useless. Okay.
You don't just hire a druid. Normally they are out in the woods to go and...
I know. They're better equipped than us, but we still may do.
It would have been nice to have a druid indeed.
You hungry?
I'm starving.
Do you reckon there's anything we can do about all this?
What's
I'm not sure.
Super pissed.
That'd be my only
My dad
regret.
does it too, my dad goes,
Being able to help.
I
Not enough.
She gets like super mad.
fucking love watching her do that.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
did what
she
we
just
could
gets all
do.
super tense and then she just starts curling her lips.
I've lived here my whole life.
Bless you.
Is that him sneezing?
Yeah.
Hard to believe
That was
that
you. I was like, what the
a man
Yeah,
looks
Giddy
like
boy.
this. It was so beautiful when I was a child.
That'll recover. Don't worry about that. Some of this damage has already started to reverse itself.
Damn, those ballywag scum.
As you guys move your way through, there's a. It's not a big village, but even still, there's maybe half of a dozen or so various farmers, craftsmen who, as they see you, lean on their pitchforks and shovels and give you curious looks. At least one of them kind of gives you this half-hearted wave, and I mean, you can see this disjointed looks of pain and disappointment. Not at what you've done, but just their situation, as everything's been sort of stripped away from them. Nevertheless, you follow your way into the town, and the 24 or so buildings quickly rise up in the distance as you move up the very shallow hillside, the cliff, and past the wooden barricade that's been erected there. A couple of the guards immediately what little there are, and actually all of you have been here before. You know there's very few guards. The militia in Prim here is it's more than that desert city, that's for sure. There's still only like maybe 6 or so, and the 2 that are standing there immediately kind of stand at attention. Welcome back to Prim! And then they sort of like lose their composure. One of them leans in. Did you succeed?
Yes, absolutely.
Give it a month or 2. Everything will be right as rain.
One of them lets out. The one that asked that lets out a very heavy. Head on in. Quickly goes back to his engine. You'll be glad to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, spread the word. There was the corruption's ended. Everything should be back to normal, right?
On our way in, I'd like to have also been kind of trying to spread the word a little bit. Having gone through a blight myself, that lasted far longer than this. I know that it would come as a great comfort that it would be ending very shortly. The knowledge
Competition,
of
Eric.
it would be over is crushing.
And you do as you pass through this wooden barricade that's been erected, past these 2 guards, who, as the last of you are kind of moving through, you see this look of satisfaction, almost triumph, as they're basking almost in your glory, and there's this proud look on their face. you make your way into the town, and the further you go, the more and more a crowd starts to gather. And again, the population here is small, 40, 50 people at most, and they slowly gather around, a dozen or so, towards the entrance and following you towards the tavern, where everyone seems to congregate at really all times of the day when work's not being done. Did you do it? Hey, how did it go? Are they done?
Everyone, gather round! And I try and, like, gather a crowd near the tavern.
You do, and you start herding people in and calling after them, and a crowd still yelling, was it the Bullywugs? Oh, Mom, it's them, they're back! And they all, like, it just gets bigger and bigger, and the dog is loving these voices, and a couple dogs follow you, because they also love the voices and the screaming and the fanaticism of the crowd gathering, and you, as you herd everyone in, and as you reach the tavern and scream inside, the windows open, people start to pour out, people gathering around the doors and up the steps, and fucking hell, he wants to get up. And there we go. And
I kind of
as you
pull over
all
like
stand on the stone steps leading into this tavern, there's a crowd of, you imagine, most of the town, even the farmers outside, some of them coming in, only a few remaining behind, and hell, you see even a few guards mingled amongst the city, and easily 30 or so people. I mean, you're not getting the booze, you fucking idiot. All waiting, listening. It grows silent. And
everyone! It is my pleasure to inform you all. The blight is over!
there's this hushed silence, and you see heads turn towards each other. You see a few children in the crowd tugging at the bottoms of the shirts of their parents. Mom, did you hear it? Yeah.
Even as we speak, I myself have seen some of the crops begin to freshen.
Yeah, exactly.
So I lean into actually, oh, you're much older than me, so I guess it's guess I'll lean into Catherine, and I'm like, this is a lot more attention than I expected.
I'm like basking in it.
Don't get too much attention.
I don't understand why he has to raise his voice. He could easily have gotten up there and said, the plate is over with. Go back to your lives.
Just the theater of it all, you know?
Finally, you see, I mean, there's a silence that kind of lingers on, and everyone sort of in hushed voices looks and talks to one another, and then finally someone kind of takes a step forward out of the crowd up towards the steps and stops maybe 10 feet away from you. Hi, what about the Bullywugs? What you do with them? How are they dealt with?
That they are, my sir. That they are. You'll have to contend with them no more.
He gives you a hearty nod and turns back to the 4 or 5 kin that kind of form a half circle behind him where he left that part of the crowd. And all of them let out this, yes.
That could be trouble.
Is it done then? Can we regrow? Will it return to the way it was?
You can continue to sow once more.
What? You don't like this voice? Get the fuck off me.
And with haste, as I'm sure the harvest season is fast upon us.
Get down from here, dude.
I don't actually know what season it is.
Huh?
Why is he
That dog is making
I
love
don't
with
know.
you. My goodness.
As you're announcing all this, and most of the crowd seems pleased and astonished, happy and elated, and there's this growing cheer, and almost a chant, really. Another person, ragged, clearly a farmer, one of the people who you saw as you entered in the town, kind of pushes his way through the crowd to the front and steps out in the open. What about our livelihood? It's fucked! There's nothing fucking left.
Where the land was once soiled, barren, and no longer able to produce, should do so again.
He takes a step up the stairs. His height, not matching yours as you're at the top, but looking up at you, closer now. Doesn't matter what the fuck it was. It's gone. You walked in, you saw it. What the fuck did you do for that?
I like elbow Voltaire, and I say, show them the stone.
No, do not show them.
I am no miracle grower of plants, my sir. I have wrought what, with my friends here, only simple folk could accomplish, or hope to. Just stop what has plagued your land.
He takes another step up the stairs, and even though he's a few steps below you, he's now at face level with you, no more than a foot or two away.
It's got like some kind of breath a little bit, and I'm just kind of like sing through it.
Yeah, he didn't eat whatever you made this morning. It's far worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck what you are. And at that, he turns around and faces the crowd. We are doomed. This, and he points towards where the crops normally grow. This is what we lived on. This is how we maintained, how we lived, how we made money. And it's gone. Don't treat them as heroes. They're not. They're just butchers. And you see him kind of, as you guys are so close to him, you all make out this audible sort of sniffle, really. We have nothing left.
As he's like turned away from me, kind of lean forward and give him a hug around the waist.
Give me a persuasion with disadvantage. He's not prepared and probably not liking that.
Oh, no.
Oh, neither of those were particularly good.
Not the best.
You kind of lean in for a hug and he kind of sneers at you and then turns back around. Nothing more than brigands after your money.
Sir,
I'm no better than or worse than you, my friend. What did you do to stop the blight? Eh?
so what is your name?
It actually doesn't look to you, Voltaire. He just kind of keeps his gaze locked as he turns around towards Eric. And slowly starts to shake his head.
What did you do?
He lets out a quick shrug. Nothing. Same as you. And he turns around immediately and starts pressing his way back through the crowds. And as he merges his way out the other side, you see him dart.
It is the lack of effort that leads to the ruin of us all. So you're seeing.
This.
I kind of turn back to the crowd. Ply the land as once before. The harvest may be slightly
I'm
weaker,
impressed.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed.
but you can overcome this.
The land will return to normal given time. You just must be patient.
You're farmers. You understand this better than any.
A woman kind of quickly raises her hand, and she doesn't step forth into the opening, but how long is it going to take? He wasn't wrong. We do need our crops. It's how we lived.
Perhaps we need to go and find some druids.
Oh, we can kill two birds with one stone. We are traveling to Fairmore in the coming days. Perhaps we can return with some assistance for you.
For an added fee, of course.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I bet? No?
Solid persuasion check.
That's a really good
You
persuasion
see
check.
the crowd heads begin to turn, and the murmuring continues. You can't really pick out anything in particular, but there's clear indications that everyone's considering it, and just eventually from behind you, the few that are gathered just at the doorway of the tavern, the innkeep, who you recognize and encountered, all of you, at this point. And it takes a step forward. Ah, yes! Yes! And he kind of makes his way towards you in the center, and he puts an arm around Baltier, the other one around Catherine, and nods his head towards you and looks out to the crowd. We've got reserves. Will keep us going, and they'll do what they can. They've done enough, yes? And he looks towards each of you. You've done enough.
That's quite a bit.
Look, I live here. Clearly there's more that can be done.
What?
This guy hates you. He wants you all to die.
Do you know any druids? If not, then there is nothing we can do. We must go to Fair.
The land will be fertile once more. Just takes time.
What is
Effort.
this guy's deal?
It's our farmers. They know that they live and die by their own hand. That's why they're worried.
Ah, yes, yeah. Tavern keeper withholds his jaw, pulls his arms out from Baltair and Catherine, and steps towards, kind of standing side by side with Eric at the edge of the uppermost step. Of course, he's quite a bit taller, and he puts an arm on your shoulder and gives it a pat. Ah, yeah. It'll be all right. We'll make do as we always have, and forget it all. Tonight, and he turns back around to you guys and holds his arms aloft. Tonight, we celebrate. We eat, and we remember what good they've done and what good is to come.
I think that's a fine idea.
A fine idea, he says. What say you people? Give me a persuasion, Eric. Everything. This whole spiel.
Everything.
Ooh,
Persuasion.
better.
A campaign persuasion check, please.
And as the innkeeper spews this out, there's some hesitant sort of yeah, and then as you kind of echo it, they're like, all right, yeah, yes, and they kind of go into this ominous, not ominous. That would be weird for the townfolk have an ominous cheer.
What?
No, they go into.
That was oddly hollow and ghostly. Made me feel uneasy.
M. Night Shyamalan twist. They are the Bullywugs.
Oh.
No, they all go into a simultaneous cheer, and the barkeep kind of like, with his arms or hand still on your shoulder, kind of pulls you to the side, and everyone starts just pouring into the tavern. A celebration! Let's just go! And he kind of pulls you along and wraps an arm around Baltair again, and kind of, can't thank you enough for what you've all done. Don't listen to him. And he points towards the crop area, and as you look that way, you can see that figure, just the vague silhouette in the distance, leaving that wooden barricade.
Perhaps it's not a good idea to make such a big celebration feast on such a meager harvest. I'm just saying, it will have to last a while until we return.
I think nothing of it. I'm sorry. It pains me to say it, but even for a tavern keeper, I'm bad with names. It was
Adios, Bon Scottish.
Yes. Think nothing of it. It's the drinks are imported. Nothing to do with our harvest. I'm not giving out food. Don't worry. Not worth their weight in it. But we celebrate nonetheless with drinks. And to say it was a small victory is not fair to you. You've done a great deal. Forget what they say. We'd be far worse off without you. All of you. Come, drink. What can I have you? And he pushes his way past the crowd, knocking a few people in the sides of the door frame, and presses his way behind the bar.
I lean into others like, he is a savvy businessman, that barkeep.
Indeed. It is too loud in here for me. I had to step outside. Ooh.
I'm kind of playing it.
I say we enjoy it for now, and in the morning we leave north.
What are you doing? Gibby?
Yeah, it's not really my crowd, I'm afraid.
Huh?
I'll stay for a drink or two, but this is
Fucking Gibby.
a lot more people than I usually like to be around. It's very
Well,
noisy.
he's just laying there.
I like that one. He's quiet. He just looks.
He's normally the more aggressive one, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
He's great. He's my friend.
I'm gonna stay and drink. I take every chance I can to drink.
Alright, so, Catherine heads in. I believe Drake said he was as well. Alyosha, you're outside. Eric, Baltier, sorry I didn't catch you guys.
I put in a message, like, basically as soon as we started entering, I began playing on my flute and trying to, like, set the crowd of clapping before I started playing, and then I've been playing in the tavern itself, kind of, like, off in the corner. Set the mood.
Yeah, so you wait for, like, the last person to file, and you immediately step in line behind as you start playing, and drinks are already be passed around as the two bar wenches that are there already throwing drinks, slinging them to the various patrons. Everyone very quickly just clapping in unison to the beat of whatever tune you're playing.
Very lively.
Yes, very loudly. It's a large, whistly, echoey sound that reverberates along the ceiling. Baltair?
I'm gonna grab a drink, but also probably leave. Just stand outside. I'm not comfortable in that dense crowd with all the noise. Also all the attention, like people clapping on the back and
yeah, absolutely. As you walk in, all four of you really, people when they're not clapping in unison to the beat, just slapping. Okay, you know.
Slap ass.
Yeah, slap
like after the third hearty slap on the back, he's just like, "Fuck this!" I'm going outside.
You quickly, as a bar wench is sort of just moving along with a platter in hand, you swipe one off the top and you turn it back outside. Catherine, Drake, you probably take refuge at the bar, and people are coming around and talking to you, giving their thanks. Eric, you likely make your way on top of the tables and hopping from one to two, acrobatizing, that's a word, along people's shoulders and playing your flute. And it's jolly good fun. It's stuffy. It's drunken. It's a celebration. But Alyosha and Baltier, you find yourselves outside, hearing the loud ruckus and phenomenon pouring out of the tavern windows.
I look over to Voltaire and say, I can't help but think that the farmer was right. That we really haven't done anything for them.
No, I agree. Crops are ruined. They have nothing left.
And if something or someone has cursed that word,
Should I just start talking to them?
what makes us think that they can't curse another?
That'd be terrible. We're not drunk enough for that yet.
Whatever caused this in the first place is out there.
Dude, this guy at the face act is freaking me out.
You heard. They
wearing
wanted
it 'cause
to
his
know what
character wears a
happened
mask,
to the
apparently.
bullywugs.
It's trash, dude.
Are you for real? That's fucking.
I am fear that they
My
will
immersion
be
is too
blamed.
much.
I should wear the cloak. What am I doing?
I mean, I don't think we can take too much blame for that.
Too hot.
No, I mean, we
Too hot, dude. I wish that-
didn't say anything about it. They knew already. We can't blame ourselves for everything.
Mm.
And we did our best. I mean, we tried to clear up the land, and we at least stopped the blight spreading.
Yes,
Small victories.
yes. I just wish we knew exactly who it was who started this in the first place and why they were so intent on blighting the land. A bunch
What
of poor
the-
farmers.
Indeed, this.
Sorry.
Wow.
It's like, he wears it all the time. It's worn off of me.
Wow. All right. Yeah.
It is interesting that they would try and do something here. I mean, part of me does wonder if it maybe was the bullywugs. Maybe it was something they did to make the enchantment more violent.
It very well could have been.
I still don't
Gives
understand
me a
why
nice
anyone
shadow
would want
around my
to
eyes. It's very ominous.
attack this town. I mean,
Yeah, it really does. It's a Gucci gang.
barely more than a hamlet, really. Come on.
All my friends.
Unless there was something
Even an elf is your
more sinister at play, something more involved that we don't truly understand. I hope not. I hope it's just, well, no, I don't, because I don't want to have to exterminate the polybogs from around this place. I don't think that is the right thing to do.
If they're not hurting anyone, I don't care if they're here. But if they want them exterminated, then at least we don't have to be the ones doing it. But I think you're dwelling on this a bit too much, Alyosha.
Awkward. Spoiler alert.
You want the drink? It's pretty awful from what I've tasted so far.
Bullies, bullywogs.
Unlike most of my kind, I tend to abstain from stronger drinks.
That is probably wise. This is fairly obviously just piss. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's actual in character laughing. Well, you certainly don't drink too much of that.
no, I cast prestidigitation on it to make it taste better, but it has an unusual texture still.
Fantastic. Well, I guess I can try to go in there and grimace the noise. So much noise. The hasslingness.
Oh, don't go in there. It's basically a beating.
It's fucking lit up when he gets the chance.
Sure.
Forgetting your past.
That's where Eric has turned the crowd into a frenzy. Yeah. Savages, Alyosha.
Very, yeah, very well. I say then I will remain out here.
Let's get lit.
Dramatic hood flip.
I've messaged what I'm doing.
Into
for
Eminem beanie.
Eve.
Yes, if we're like out here, I mean, I think like Baltar and Alyosha are people who are comfortable with silence. So after we've had a little chat, I'm probably going to sit out by the steps, reading one of my books for a little while, trying to stay out of the limelight as much as possible, so we don't get
Yeah, every once
forcibly
in a while, unfortunately, a drunken fool comes just blundering out of the inn. Hi, you're one of them.
No, I'm afraid not.
No,
I'm
no,
his
you
brother.
are. You absolutely
I'm his
are.
twin brother. That's all it is, my friend.
Deception with disadvantage.
You are
Mostly
quite
because he's
drunk.
drunk, not because you're bad at it.
16, bitch.
That guy thinks he's a twin brother.
Insight.
Let me know.
Mm.
2 hours. Add
He's drunk.
blackout
Take
time.
your poison.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping for a 20 there.
I know, right? He gets in real close to your face though, I mean, a few inches away and squints. Oh yeah, you don't have the blemish like the other one.
What's right there with the scar?
I seen him. He's got a blemish.
Yeah, he does. He's got
He's
terrible
got like
skin.
his face is like fucked up. It was like burning a fire.
You are
That's
quite
my
drunk.
brother. Yes.
You ought to go home.
But
I'm
you
the
got-
handsome one.
What's that? And he kind of points towards whatever you have.
That's a nose.
Oh, the other one didn't have that. Not a good one, anyways. It was crooked and burned and. Kind of
Yeah.
tentacles it.
Tentacle nose. I heard someone just calling your name
Where? Who?
from in the tavern. I think somebody has been stealing your drink.
You're clearly missed the party.
I walk off.
He looks. Give me a dex, straight dex. How fast do you make it?
It's a speed walk.
That's a 2. I mean, he looks for a long time before looking around. You've been gone for a minute, which is a while. He's like, Alyosha, are you still out here?
Yes, I'm
sees
watching this
you.
poor soul. He's blind.
I'm like, from around the corner, I'm just like, sorry. Like mouthing at you. I walk off.
You're one of them. I seen you. Were
Yes,
you calling?
yes,
You were calling me.
Yes.
He told me you were. And he comes wandering over, drink in hand, which at this point is pouring over the
Yes,
sides
sir.
of his mug. You're the one with the
Yes.
yes
I'm,
yes.
I'm a dwarf. Yes.
Dwarf. Small.
Very.
Bulky. Big.
Quite stocky though.
Stocky.
Easily able to handle.
Easily able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Any form of sudden move aggression.
Any form of aggression. He kind of mad dogs you. Just kidding. I'm fucked, mate. I'm really fucked.
Yes. You ought to go home and sleep it off.
I don't got one of those. You ever given ale to a dog? Because that one's being fucking annoying. He could really use some. You hear him? He's barking like a cunt.
I can't say that I have, no.
Have you met the village dog? Belongs to the innkeeper. Do you know the innkeeper? Hey, Gibby. That's the dog's name. I got some alcohol.
It's a wonderful name, yes.
I don't agree. I think it's stupid.
Everyone has their own opinion
Don't
about
tell
things.
Nashia that, though.
You have no worries.
He's always barking at strangers, but he's a little shit.
I
He
will
just
take your
make
word
this
for it.
really like gross grimace at you, but it's not necessarily at you. It's more through you.
At this point, that I stumble out the door and sit on the steps.
Is it loud? Are you loud?
Am I loud? I walk out, kind of like, waving goodbye to whoever I was likely just talking to.
You drank quite a bit. Give me a stealth with disadvantage, even though you're not trying to be stealthy. We're just determining how loud you are here.
Definitely not, but alright. 9.
Alright. I mean, he's still grimacing at Alyosha, or through Alyosha, and then you just come bumbling out and... Hey! You're one of them!
One of the one and only.
At this point, I start walking away.
Alyosha, where are you going? Alyosha!
As you start walking away, there's like a rock in the middle of the town at the moment. It's like, Alyosha.
Did he
Sorry,
say
hold
where he
on.
was
The
going?
town dog is being a cunt! What's up?
I kind of turn to the drunk guy. I'm like, hey, did he say where he was going? I needed to discuss.
Who? And he turns around, Alyosha, give me a dex. Straight dex.
That's not good. Straight Dex.
Oh wait, that's your.
Eh.
That ain't too bad.
Yeah, no, he's like, who? Oh shit, he's gone. I don't know.
Yeah, as you're walking away, like you get like, a ways into the town. It's like a rock is like, Alyosha. Alyosha. Like there's this like boulder, like this 5-foot boulder. It's like a hand just pokes out of it. And it's like,
Right. Well, hey, I
I'm
need
kind
to
of freaked out by this.
I need to catch up.
come into the rock.
I run over to the rock. I'm more curious and terrified at the same time.
Come in.
Yeah, you quickly run over to Boltown. Meanwhile, this drunken, bumbling idiot kind of just fumbles his way over to Eric.
Oh yeah, no, I'm trying to get him to go with me to go find.
Well, I need a drink first, though.
Well, just lucky that I happen to have this one right here in my hand.
That's what he does not.
For me.
And I kind of like grasp him around the shoulders. For you.
He's much taller than you. You
I know.
kind of
Like,
reach a hand up and place it.
like-
You place the tips of your fingers on his shoulder, and
Okay.
he slumps the shoulder down so that you can get your palm over it. Whoa! You saved our town, and you're giving me a drink. And his hand is up in the air for some reason. Don't know why.
Look, you were just talking with my friend. I need to discuss something with them.
Hold up! Hold
You
up!
down that.
Hold the door! Hold door! Wait!
What? There's no dog here.
Spoiler alert! Wait!
There's no dog.
No. You're friends? I thought. Holy shit! My mind is blown. If I had one, which I don't at the moment, it's fucked.
It's nice to have friends,
It's
I know.
fucked. Right.
Oh,
I'm gonna go get another one. The town dog
Okay.
won't leave me alone, so he needs one too. Seriously,
Sure,
get the
sure.
fuck out of my face.
Have fun.
Fuck.
I go try and find where Alyosha went.
Alright, you start like
As
you
he enters the bar, I exit the bar.
Alright, so
I'm also
Eric.
getting out.
Alright, so Drake and Catherine, you guys have been kind of sticking together loosely, and both of you sort of just merge out the door, and you see this bumbling idiot like, oh shit, you guys, and he just waves at you and like, get the fuck off me.
Exciting noises then.
He just waves at you with eyes wide as you guys cross each other's path, and all five of you out there, the two of you emerge out, and you've had quite a bit to drink. Well, Catherine at least. It's quite a bit to drink. You're not far off this guy. You probably reciprocate that wave and wide-eyed look, and merge your way down. Eric is kind of in the middle of this town square, looking around and not sure what the fuck he's doing really. And as you two come emerging down the steps towards Eric and Alyosha, Voltaire, you're not telling Eric you're there, and you want to be sure that drunken fuckface is gone. So you're just kind of lurking in the shadows.
Oh, you know, hiding in my rock.
Yes, hiding in your rock. And
Yeah.
Suddenly you all hear this. Help! Help! Fuck! You hear coming from the east this plea, this cry for help, followed by this poof as something hits the dirt. And as you all look towards the eastern exit of the town, you see this body laying motionless in the dirt. There's no guards there as there normally would be. They're inside drunk off their fucking ass.
I immediately run over and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Roll.
Hey, you know, like, kind of like someone like this. Hey, get up! What's wrong?
Roll Cure Wounds.
Hmm?
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was a solid.
Like that.
As you come running up, you see this human, it seems, just sprayed out flat on the ground. There's no puddle of blood. There's not even really a trail of blood. But there are major lacerations across the back of his chest. You see his legs especially just cut through, bruised, wounded. His clothes are a soiled mess of clumped up brownish dried blood, and as you lay an arm on him and the energy washes over, you see many of them heal up. You don't, most of it beneath the clothing, you don't see it, but there's this sudden gasp of life.
Is this near the bar at all?
And he collapses towards the entrance. You're a good 50, 60 feet away at the entrance of this eastern wooden barricade.
Okay. Hey, what's wrong? What happened? What?
You turn him over onto his backside, and he immediately wrenches all over the ground. A combination of blood and vomit, just intermingled with the dirt. Who are you? Shit! Help! You have to help! You have to help, please.
How can I help? How can I help? What happened to you?
Give me a perception check.
With disadvantage because I'm drunk.
There you are. Ooh, not
It's
bad.
not
though.
bad. Not bad though.
Shut up, town dog. What is his fucking deal? Jenna's not even home yet. As you, I mean, you kind of you pull him over to his backside. And you can see his clothes, even amidst the soaked in blood, the dirt, everything. There's a lot of very dark, kind of black soot stained into the fabric of his very basic kind of commoner tunic and pantaloons. And I mean, his clothes are ragtag, clearly torn, but he's a mess. I mean, his face, his skin is blocked with this very dark material. And eventually, give me persuasion as well, as you're trying to pry information from him. Calm him down, really.
Would that be with it advantage because I'm drunk?
I'll let you even out. We'll say it's regular.
All right.
You're not hostile at all. He's
God damn, my persuasion
yeah.
rolls.
Look at this.
on fire. You kind of like you take a step back and assure him that you mean no harm, and he slowly kind of comes down, he's breathing heavily. And the rest of you, Catherine, Voltaire, Alyosha, Eric, or not, Trike, kind of from your various positions, all just watching this unfold in the distance. You see Eric take a step back, and this figure clamber away, but
It's all right. It's all right.
it fucking hurts. God, you need help. Please, someone's got to help. The militia, they got someone. They fucking attacked us.
Who?
I'm gonna suck away my my rock illusion and stand up at this point. Like, that doesn't look good, does it?
Alyosha,
Yeah.
the rock that's been talking to you suddenly turns into the boss hair. Straight
I
up.
think I
and-
like stand up first, so it's just like the rock is like up to here and then it just goes.
I like to think it like inflates. You just inflate like a jumpy house, you know, it's just out of the rock, and it's just
They go with the
Voltaire
bolt.
standing there. It's just Voltaire.
It's quite an interesting trick. Yes, it does not
Yeah.
look good.
I walk over to the man.
I'm in the process of asking him who attacked him.
And as you're asking this, and the rest of everyone's approaching, he kind of stumbles back. I don't know. They came like little shadows out of the darkness, and he's ambushed us. And he slowly clambers to his feet and or not even to his feet, really just to his knees. He makes his way towards you, and even on his knees, he kind of reaches your chest. You're how tall are you?
I don't think I'm that tall. I'm like 3 something.
I mean, he's at your
3.
gut at the very least. I mean, he's halfway up you. And, fuck!
I throw some raw meat to the dog.
Shut the fuck up! Come here! Shut the fuck up! Hey! Come here. Come here.
Probably just hungry.
The
Silly
dog
kitty.
sound is overpowering the tavern's ambient sound.
Yeah.
Actually, they've already eaten today. They're just being a little dick.
Who? Where did they come from?
I don't know. And he kind of clutches at your tunic and just gets real close. Just digging, like always, and then shaking. And then they came. They got them. They got my friends. We got to get them,
They
please.
said they attacked us. Where are your friends? What happened to them? Where are
The
they?
mine. They're at the mine.
The mine. The mine. Where's the mine? Do I know where the mine is?
You have no idea.
Drake, the mine. Where's the mine here?
I kind of now notice your all's approach, having been focused on this individual till this moment.
What's this guy's deal?
A mine. He said something about a mine. He was attacked from a mine. Do you all know where a mine is in this town?
If I recall, there should be some to the east.
Drake, give me give me a history with advantage. Whew. Yeah, absolutely. And as you say that, as you mentioned there's one to the east, you think that over for a second, you mull it over, and then you kind of give a nod, and Absolutely, yeah. You know for a fact there is a mine directly across this beaten, unpaved path heading south and towards the bottom of the mountains, directly east.
Okay, how far are the mines?
Sorry, you rolled a crit. It's called the Ebonshard Mines, for the record.
Good enough. Good enough. To the east.
Over
Evan Lock, not Ebonshard.
Yeah, how
No
far?
way.
Sudden wind.
Um,
No.
it should be less than a mile from here.
Free your mind. Just fall over.
It's more than a mile. I mean, it's across the path. You guys are. It's about half a day's journey. It's about the same distance as you've gone in this day. Probably around somewhere between 10 and 15 miles away.
Jesus. You ran all the way here.
As fast as I can. It's the only town I know. I'm the only one that got up there. They've gotten my friends.
Did they take them?
I don't know. I think so. They killed them or took them or something. I didn't even see it. They're just shadows in the darkness. We've got to get them. At this point, he's kind of clambering his way up, trying to use Eric for leverage, which probably isn't a good idea.
I try and help.
I'll help him up.
You help him up, and with the healing, he stumbles, but he manages to get his foothold. There's still some visible wounds and lacerations on him, but he's standing upright and alive. At this point, there's 2 or 3 drunken fuckbags that have emerged out of the tavern and just kind of like, they're still by the tavern. They're just on looking.
When did you run from the mine? How long ago was it?
A day, 2, maybe. No, a day. I got out and I came. I ran as fast as I could, but it fucking hurts. And you see him clutch a wound. It still hasn't cured up.
I look back in the direction of the tavern and I call out for help. Help! Someone come! Help this man!
The 3 drunken fools that have like are standing by the steps, they just look to each other. Help! And they just like yelling into the tavern. It takes a lot of fumbling and people clashing into each other, but eventually the tavern keeper specifically makes his way out, who you all know, especially given the drunken guy mentioning it, but you've met him before. His name's Nashir. Kind of makes his way out, and he yells back in, and that garners far more attention than these drunken idiots. And before long, there's 4 people, including Nashir, who fumbles over to this guy. What's going on? Everything all right?
Injured people in the sight of blood can very quickly bring a state of total intoxication to at least moderate sobriety. So I'm expecting that, like, hopefully these guys are able to at least, like, help me bring these guys to the tavern keep, and I'm trying to direct them to try and get this guy to a bed in the tavern or something to lay him down on and start addressing his wound to the best of our all combined drunken ability.
Huh?
I will help this. I'm not
The
drunk.
meme screen.
It just looks weird when I'm always looking up at the meme screen.
It's a good one.
He was bleeding out when I found him.
Yeah.
We didn't think you did it, Eric. Don't worry.
I'll give him another infusion of cure wounds.
I was just
Um,
And a couple of the tavern or the patrons kind of get his arms over their shoulders and help him heft up, and as they're helping him move away, and he's still just kind of mumbling to himself, "Oh, please," you place a hand on his backside as they're dragging him basically, and motherfuckers, heals up, and that wound suddenly like heals over, and he's looking far better. The wounds themselves are really, I mean, he's almost entirely intact, and you gather it's more just this trauma that's keeping him at bay, as he's now walking, but still with the aid of these people, kind of stumbling along.
Him having gone off with them to the tavern, and we all being slightly having our concerns put to rest a bit.
The
sight
fuck
of him
dude.
being cared for by the townsfolk, I would immediately try and turn to the party.
I'm going with them, the townsfolk, to try to tend to this guy. So I'm like, you'll be all right, friend. It's like your wounds are not serious enough.
I go to Nashir and I say, Nashir, he says he was from the Evanshard mines. Was there an excavation going on recently?
Given your crit history, you know this already, but you kind of go for confirmation, and he does confirm. Yeah. Oh, always mining there. It's been a while since we heard from them, but yeah, they're always bringing in their goods, and it's usually the first stop here before they head north. And last I heard, they made some big breakthrough, big cavern, but we haven't heard from them in a while. It's been months, at least. Well, they've come in for food and things.
All right. Well, there's clearly something up with the mine. This guy's friends have been taken or was killed.
We should go there. We should help them.
Well, quite agree.
I don't know if we should go right now, though.
It's only been a day.
Gotta wait till the morning, right?
Why wait? We're wasting time.
So plastered.
I'll just blast it out of
Maybe a long walk will sober you up.
Yeah, it'd be half a day.
We have time. They don't.
What time of the day is it right now?
Oh, I mean, it's you guys reached the late day. The sun was setting. It's been an hour, maybe 2 hours of celebrating already. It's nightfall. It's the beginning of nightfall.
Oh, it was later than that.
I mean, it very well might be later than that. You kind of lost track of time between the bumbling idiots and the drinking.
Dude, this window is...
I am all for.
You getting that nice
I
breeze?
travel 2 hours and then set up camp.
I don't know why I'm still wearing this cloak.
And then
It's
head
blistering
straight
hot,
there.
isn't it?
We have all the time in the world. They do not. Let's go what distance we can.
I mean, I'm with Eric here. If we can push on with this and get there today. I mean, it's only a handful of miles.
Easily persuaded
What?
when
Are you gonna be okay, Catherine?
Yes. So is I'm not eating.
Right. Do you have a drink there? Anyone have a drink? Any liquids of any kind, really? I mean, we just need to splash this man, I think.
I can only assume that Catherine has alcohol in his hand.
I've got a water skin.
I ship-shape, I pat him on the back, and I give him some of my water skin.
I was thinking more of a gentle drenching or something like that, you know?
Thanks, man.
I dump some of my water on his head after like trying to jump up and like trying to like pour some on his head, but it's like really tall.
Not working really, and I mean, there's probably about a half dozen or so patrons from the bar that have kind of made this very loose gathered crowd, you know, with the arrival of the screaming man and all. And as you guys are trying to like do whatever you're doing, squirt liquid on the Catherine, this bumbling figure kind of, whoa, you're one of them. It's very clearly the same guy from before. He just presses his way through you towards Catherine, and like places both hands on your shoulders. Wow.
After like not reaching his head, I give up after like a couple tries. Ah, this is pointless. Let's go. And I take off.
Go, man. I mean, we can go. I'll just follow you guys. It's fine.
You're saying this as this guy has both hands on your shoulders. He's not saying anything. He's just staring into your face.
No reaction to the guy who has his hands.
It's you though, right? You're the one.
Yeah, it's me, man.
Listen. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Can I buy you a drink?
Keep in mind, people are dying.
I'm just gonna tap his shoulder and just be like,
I gotta go, man. Me and my friends are gonna go save some guys.
He pulls himself in and wraps one of the arms around your shoulder. No, listen, they're gonna be alright. I seen what you do. And his eyes are shut as he's saying this, and he's maybe an inch away. I gotta buy you a drink.
Yes, man. I'll meet you in there. And you get that drink ready for me, alright?
I like point towards the.
I point towards the tavern.
He doesn't see it because his eyes are closed, but he nods, and he takes maybe 4 steps forward, and then you watch his face hit the edge of one of the steps of the tavern, and there's a very subtle crack, but you all just backtrack away, and
Let's go.
I'm not dealing with that.
No, if his head cracks, I'll run over and heal it.
yeah. And as everyone, you kind of step away from this guy, Alyosha, you're inside, and you, with this guy now laid out flat on a table, or not a table, a bed, upstairs, you kind of pulling apart the clothing, getting the wounds more within view, and with the healing between you and Eric, you're certain, as you say, the wounds they're bad, but they've mostly healed over with the various spells, and you give them some additional wrappings, some ointments. You say your prayers over them, and you assure him and the gathered crowd, including Nashir, that everything's going to be all right, and you're certain that they will be. Everyone else seems confident in that, given what you've already done. They're quite quick to take that into consideration and believe you wholeheartedly. Muted.
Keep him comfortable. It will hurt. He will grit his teeth a lot. Ignore it. I will see him again upon my return.
Yeah, we'll make sure he's alright. I'll get him. Can he drink any, yeah?
Yes, he can. Actually, might help him a bit. Not too much though. Not too much.
Did you drink that drink right there? How was it?
The fucking ace?
No, that's the fruit peach, whatever this is. Is that the thing that
Did I return?
Oh yeah, no, it's alright. I've been slowly chugging away at it. It's not great.
Or is it?
Alright, well, I'm with Eric here. I
Costa
think we need to
Rica
press on as
Clementine.
quickly as possible.
I mean, you want to take a sip of this, dude?
Maybe we should keep Catherine
It's
on a
actually pretty
rope or
good.
something in case he stumbles off. I don't want to lose him.
Yeah, I'm good. Just I'll follow your legs.
It might be a good idea to make
It's pretty good,
a
dude.
good ways out there and then
Oh yeah, that's
perhaps
Reminds me of
take a
vitamin
few
water,
hours
actually.
to rest and then
Similar.
continue on. But yes, we do need to start to head in that direction. Agreed.
Cover as much ground as possible.
Right.
Alright, I'm gonna pull out a torch, hand it off to my mage hand, and then just ignite it with prestidigitation. Yeah, I'm gonna carry it off in front of us, like 30 feet. And just
Oh, yeah, boy.
ready to go?
Human eyesights are so poor.
Not everyone can be blessed, dwarf.
I don't see how I'm not. All the magic you have, and still humans are born
So,
unable to see in the dark. I just don't understand.
It's not our fault we all live underground, alright?
just like
I'm just making an
Just
observation.
walking around.
Blaming you for your dark vision. I'll see ya.
there's enough moonlight pouring through at the time that you guys eventually take off. There's some very, very dim light. Combined with the torches, you guys are able to make your way well enough. And Drake, especially with that crit roll, you're fairly familiar with the way out, and your just knowledge of really the surrounding terrain, especially leading out of Prim, out of the forest. You're able to move at I'm assuming you guys are moving at a fast pace here.
Yeah, it's fast.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys did, you were there for
Pushing
a few
cat.
hours. You guys did get the benefits of a short rest from all your drinking and lounging about, so it is I don't know how that works for travel, but I don't think you suffer from that exhaustion shit for having traveled more than 8 hours since you got that long rest. And you guys make your way throughout the night. It's, for those who aren't drinking as heavily, hell, for those who are drinking heavily, or have drank heavily, it's exhausting. It's not enough to really take you over the edge, but moving at a fast pace towards this town, and again, it's about 10, 15 miles out. It takes a bit out of you as you emerge out of the forest, which is the lesser part of the journey, and onto the main path. Most of you traveled along this main path just to get to Prim, having heard of the blight before you arrived. And as you reach it, you kind of gain your own bearings and some familiarity with the surroundings. You continue onwards, Drake still taking the lead, and as you cross past the path and up the shallow rising cliffside, you make your way towards the mountainscape, towards where the mine is, the Ebenchard mine. It takes another couple hours of traveling, but eventually, amidst the moonlight and the torchlight, you can see just vaguely the outline of not even buildings, huts, more likely, makeshift buildings and tents outlining the exterior, the base of the mountain. You see the pointed roofs in the distance, but nothing else. You kind of hesitate as everything comes into view and take a moment, but there's no sign of any movement. At this point, it's well into the night and early morning. I mean, it's by our time easily 3 a.m. or so. The moon is drifted ominously over the mountains, and as you look the other way, there's a very slight tinge, an orangish glow beginning to emerge, just barely peeking over the line. Not enough to give you any light, but nevertheless growing on the horizon. It's late, it's long, it's early. You've been traveling for quite some time, and there's nothing up ahead aside from these buildings in the mountains.
Catherine, we're getting close. Are you feeling a bit more with it?
Yeah, I'm here. I just feel terrible now.
That's much better. Okay.
Hey, 20 minutes. Rest. Such a long walk. Oh. They don't train you to do this on boats. Ugh.
I hate this guy.
I could sail a ship, but I'm not used to being on my feet for too long.
What do you know about the mines up ahead? I mean, we're getting pretty close now.
What? She never came over. What a hoe.
You said she was staying the night.
Do I know anything?
no, she was
That
supposed to come
crit
over.
20?
Sorry, say that again.
Done.
I apparently my mic cut out.
What does he know about the mines?
So from what you're aware of, the mines, they're called the Ebenchard mines primarily because it's a fairly recent mine, but they began excavation after coming across a material very similar to obsidian. This very black, glassy kind of material, or mineral actually. It was slow moving and it took a while, but you, like, as the tavern keeper mentioned, you haven't heard anything in a while, months even. And from what you know, it was slow moving. It is very tough material to carve their way through, and they sort of built a very small community around it, but you're not sure beyond that.
I don't go here often, but I hear that we do excavating over here from time to time. As Navir said, we sent people a while ago. We haven't heard anything in months, but we never thought there'd be danger lurking in here. We haven't gotten anything good. Originally, when they first heard about this mines, they were obsidian, which doesn't really help us because it's hard to go in there, but for now I'm just confused as to what would hurt him.
I think we all are about that. So, I don't know about the rest of you. I want to keep pushing until I see the mines.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just keep going.
Hey, it's enough to rebel. We go. Whew.
Was he just saying it to himself? Like he was the one talking.
Alright, so we push on to the outskirts of the settlement.
Okay, so you guys creep your way further along, moving closer and closer, and as you do, you see the buildings themselves. As you enter the perimeter, you see the buildings aren't necessarily full buildings. Some of them are walls, a roof on top, but many of them are a little more than large pillars and beams embedded into the ground of the roof over top. No walls to speak of, just corners. You can see workbenches, anvils, large furnaces, everything you imagine a mine would have, really. Very basic, very small. No more than a dozen buildings at most.
Okay, do we have any indication of how many people would have been here? I mean, because there are living quarters, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the buildings that are walled off are most definitely living quarters. And a quick peek in, you count at least 2 to 3 beds per. You imagine there's, of the 6 or so actual buildings there that aren't just like posts.
So that doesn't half that kind of region.
Yeah, 18, 20 at most. It was a very small endeavor, it seems, but.
And is there any signs of struggle, like around the settlement?
Give me an investigation.
While he's doing that, is there any do I remember how many people went on this excavation?
That you're not sure. I mean, this excavation probably started before you returned to Prim. And you know that at least 1 or 2 people from Prim kind of headed out towards that way looking for work, so to what extent it's been built up and how many people and whatnot, you're not entirely sure. 21, solid. So, as you're looking through these buildings, the actual living quarters themselves, there doesn't appear to be much. Many of the beds are kind of unmade, almost as if they were, well, can't even say that. You're not sure that they would be the kind of people to make their beds. But he definitely, the way that the footprints are leading out of some of these buildings, very fresh and dirt heavily upheaved. It wasn't simple walking tracks. It looks like people were dashing, running towards the mine. So much so that they're
Towards the mine.
Towards the mine. You only see a few pair of footsteps that, or pairs of tracks leaded away, and the ones that are leaded away are leading directly from the entrance, the mouth of this cave. And subsequently, they seem to be drug back. You see long, uphewed lines of dirt stretched out, where footsteps, tracks suddenly end straight towards the mine.
Are there any non-humanoid tracks? Like you said, they were dragged, but is there any sign that something dragged them? Like it just seems that they dragged themselves.
You can tell there's nothing but booted footprints lined everywhere.
Interesting. Well, from what I can tell, it looks like there was some kind of a commotion. Everyone ran to the mine. Right, there were a great deal of upheaved dirt here. This wasn't walking. Some people managed to get out of the mine, only a couple, but they were dragged back in. But there's no footsteps, nothing.
I find it odd that they ran to the mine.
Someone must have called out for help. Well, there might have been a cave-in or something like that, which caused them to run to help. Anything could have happened, but nobody got out.
Cave-ins don't slash up people.
No, they don't. I'm saying that maybe that might have been the reason they went in, but maybe a cave-in released something else. They said they recently uncovered a new cavern. That is in itself
Sure.
worrying.
Humans that dig too deep.
The men had to escape somehow. Did you see any blood anywhere?
It doesn't look like it.
There's
I mean,
definitely some blood. Can just. About.
DM, about what time does it appear? Like, is the sun starting to rise yet, or no?
Not quite. I mean, you can see the subtle orangish glow, just an outline over the western trees, but that's it. There's no real rays of light pouring in yet.
And that torch is still lit. That torch is still lit, right?
I've got loads of them. I'll just light another one if it goes out. So yeah. I mean, a little bit of. There's a little.
Do we just go in?
Alright.
I mean, it doesn't look like we have much option. If we want to investigate this, we're going to have to go in. There's nothing around here.
As you
Just
said,
the
the
signs
longer
that
we
people
wait-
went inside and didn't come out.
Alright.
I can't
Get
jump.
in, I jump in.
What the hell?
What the hell is that?
Using too many spell slots, sir.
I got 3 slots.
Baller.
These are outrageous. Anyway, yeah, I recast that.
We had a short rest too.
Indeed, so I've got 2 spells left.
I'm going to use my stone cutting ability to kind of gauge the history of the mine and how it was built, how well it was built.
Can you link me that real quick?
Yes.
And while,
Or I can look it up if you don't have it on Roll20.
while he's kind of discerning that, I'm also kind of going over with the party, kind of, the tactics that we've used in the past, kind of having Drake up front, you, the kind of scout, with Catherine not short behind, both being more frontline fighters, but Drake being kind of better at tracking.
Okay. Alyosha, give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
History, sorry.
Okay.
Technical. And then you add an extra,
11.
basically expertise in that, so 11. Much of what you come to, looking at even just the mouth of this cave, is similar to what Drake has already told you. You can tell that it's very freshly carven, at least in dwarvish years. You can't imagine that this mine is more than 4 or 5 years old at most. So you kind of approach the entrance and lay a hand and keen sight on the stone. You can tell that, as mentioned, it's very tough material to work through, and given what you've heard about them moving slowly through this mine, it makes a lot of sense to you. It's very thick, very dense, hard material. And the sort of glass obsidian-like mineral that has been told to you, it's very reminiscent of this. You've encountered something, at least in reading, once before, in your sort of younger dwarf she is.
But it seems that it's at least stable. It doesn't look like it's structurally going to like collapse or something like that, or prone to collapse.
Well, that's
All right. Well, I think there's nothing left to do but at least scout out the area, have a look in there.
Alright, let's head on in. I don't believe there would be traps afoot.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, so I'm going to hold the torch out in front of us, keep moving it forward as I step, keeping it 30 feet away. I'm going to stay in the middle of the group somewhere.
Okay.
I'm
The
near
mouth
it.
of the cave is relatively small at best. You guys are able to make it in sort of 2 at a time. What are you guys going
That's
to
cool.
I'll lead the way. Kind of being wary
Next
of my
will be with Drake.
Drake.
So,
Drake.
Hotline bling, man.
I'll take up the rear.
Right. Sorry.
Make sure nothing comes up
Don't
from
be
behind.
sorry. Well deserved.
Right.
Okay, so Catherine and Drake, you guys gonna make your way in first with the torch just floating in front of you, the hand clutching it. Voltaire in the center with who else? Sorry.
I'm near Baltair-ish, maybe if like a couple paces behind.
Okay, and Alyosha kind of just weaving in between, sorta.
Yeah, I'll come in right behind, try to keep all the squishy people in the middle.
Okay, and I assume Tarul is just
Squishy people.
there.
Floating around. Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys torch leading the way, followed by your Drake and Catherine, you guys make your way into the cave, and immediately there's this cold chill, not necessarily a wind, but just air that protrudes out from the cave and grasps you, draws you in. You press your way further, it immediately turns to a bend, and you can see the start of a long line of railway track for the mine carts. A small alcove off to the side there is a large abundance of crates, barrels, tools strewn about, no doubt just the necessary mining supplies and things that they've uncovered and boxed up. But even as you approach that, the cool, almost frigid air that encompasses the area seems to beckon you forward as you begin to delve further and further into the mine.
Me, or does it feel much colder in here?
No,
Well,
It is a
you
cave.
know.
it's getting chilly, yes.
I mean, it doesn't get much sunlight. It's gonna be colder than outside. Right?
Sure. Of course.
You don't suppose some of the bollywags might have
Mm,
came here?
this is not where they live.
I didn't see any water streams leading into this cave. It's highly unlikely.
It's also not really their MO, right? I mean,
No.
they
No,
need to be a
it's-
lot stronger than the ones we fought to be dragging men off back into a mine. I mean, these are capable, strong human men here, right? They're
Mhm.
miners.
Something in here.
There's
Correct.
something in here.
Far
probably far worse than bullywugs.
Well, that's not really reassuring, but thank you for your honesty.
About DM, just out of character, how long would it take me to try and get my clothes to look kind of darkish in color, create kind of like a blackish colored hat?
What are you
Going
doing? What are you using to do that?
My disguise kit.
You don't so much dye your clothes. I mean, the disguise kit has plenty of stuff pre-made to the point where you can simply kind of just put various materials over your clothing to get the sort of desired appearance. It takes you no more than 5-10 minutes at most. It's really just digging through stuff and then putting it on.
Okay, that's what I meant then. I'll take about that amount of time real quick, kind of garbing myself a little differently for this delve into the mines.
Aye, well, watch ye footing. We don't know what's ahead. I've had experience like this before. I'll just go up to this corner and see if I can peek over.
Where are you peeking towards?
Do I see anything over here?
Roll my perception. Also, you can use the ruler to point.
Okay. I mean, I don't do my face and skin quite like that, but clothing and hat, yes.
Not disadvantaged, but the 20 is still the first roll. Hot damn. So, you, I'm assuming you guys are all stealthing, right? So go ahead and roll me stealth. You guys have been being pretty cautious, so I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
If not,
yeah.
You don't gotta.
I would like to be.
Wow!
I don't know
Solid
if
0.
my outfit helps at all.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys! Hey!
Ew.
Fucking hell,
Ooh,
man.
that's a terrible one.
Wow.
Yeah, this is not good. We weren't even close to quiet.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's not so much
We don't
that you guys are necessarily loud, it's just the fact that there's a floating fucking torch letting off light. And some of you are wearing armor that even clanks and sort of echoes down the way. You do your best to be quiet, but as a whole, there's not much stealth going on, and you guys are pretty aware of that, I think. Nevertheless, Drake, as you kind of shuffle your way forward to the edge, as you look around, you're kind of peering around the crates and whatnot, to seeing if there's anything there. There's no sound or anything, but you see for just the briefest of seconds these two orbs in the firelight. They kind of gleam, and then what looks to be like essentially a head, the top of someone's noggin immediately darts down as you make eye contact.
I just shush.
You have control now. Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
So he's kind of like shushing us. What is it?
There were some kind of magic orbs ahead.
Did he not hear anything I said?
I'm sorry.
He didn't get that reference.
He's
There'd be magic ahead,
fucking
but
retarded.
nothing over.
This dude literally has a mental disorder.
By ahead, what do you mean? By down the tracks in this side passage?
I need tracks.
I'm talking about Phil.
Maybe
Yeah.
a camp ahead
See what he says when
in
this
some kind of cavern. Can I like search these boxes and barrels, see if I find anything?
yeah, so you kind of move forward, and I mean everything is sealed fairly tight. Are you just prying them open?
Yeah, I'll just pry it open.
Okay, so you move around the corner, lodge your weapon in there, and start just pulling things open with this tremendously loud creak as the wood is being upheaved from it. Kind of flattened state. Snap some of the wood pieces off, and as you peer in, you can see the barrels themselves are filled with this dark, glassy material.
What are you doing?
Is now really the time for this?
Just trying to see. Maybe they could have hid some bodies in here.
The fuck is this guy on? I can't.
Well, what's in there?
He just makes up shit.
It's just some obsidian. Nothing.
I've got my
beside myself.
light
right
crossbow kind of ready.
now. Logan, can you believe this? You wanna eat? You wanna eat?
I don't see any of this magic ahead that you talked
And
about.
on the track. Yeah. Maybe this might be a trap. Be careful.
I don't see any magic orbs either.
Those of you looking,
There was one
like,
earlier. Went out.
actively kind of looking around. Go ahead and give me a perception. What? What you want, Logan? You want to eat?
Help
Oh, you want to
someone.
eat? Oh, you hungry? You want to eat? Oh, there you
I'm
go.
making on my bird.
Dude, look at this. He loves to rub his pee-pee all over the ground. Kevin.
That's a 24 for total.
Oh,
though.
fuck. This dude loves to just drag his
Nice.
dick across the ground. It feels amazing, apparently. That's all he does. All day. It's weird. Alright, so.
Is Turtle kind of like flying around, or is it on your shoulder?
No, flying above me, like just a couple of feet above.
As you guys
Okay.
are moving forward, most of you are very confused. Baltair, Noya, as you said, like there's no magic orbs that you can see or make out, but Alyosha and Catherine, as you guys are making your way, and as the torch kind of dips into this next passage, you see just the flicker of the light as it passes by what looks to be a shoulder and a shift of a movement as something kind of darts back behind the boxes. You look in that direction and you can see these two eyes peering back at you, and as you make eye contact once again, it just moves back, now kind of clutched sort of back this way.
I definitely saw something behind those crates over there.
There, we think sees us ahead.
What are you doing?
Stop moving the
Look at
torch.
him, dude. He's just rubbing his
Alyosha,
dick
you
on
can
the
see in
ground.
the dark. You want to head forward, maybe
You
see what it is?
Which was over there? There was definitely
Kevin.
some sort of eyes.
Just rubbing his dick, dude. Ah, god damn it. There he goes. There he goes. Rubbing his.
I grab
God
my
damn it.
warhammer and kind
He
of
rubs
like
his dick, dude. It's hilarious.
start not like smashing crates, but kind of like nudging them out of the way, so I can kind of see if there's stuff behind here.
So as you kind of pull your warhammer out, drag one of the wood crates along this stone and dirt, makes a tremendous sound. You hear this, and then it kind of just contains itself, and you pull out another one, and the same sound doesn't come this time, but you can hear this subtle, subdued panting.
There's someone behind those crates. Reveal yourself.
Hello, we will not harm you.
No,
Do not harm us.
Don't say anything.
Who's here to help?
No one here.
Yes, there is. You are speaking.
Fuck. And then you see this head just dart up behind one of the crates. All you see is the head, though. This sort of a shaggy-haired individual, hair to its shoulder. Pretty sure it's a human. Peering back at you from one of the double-stacked crates. Oh. You're not with them? Huh, where are you? He kind of ducks back down. What do you want? Leave me alone, please.
With who?
Hi, you were one of the excavators, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a miner. What do you want? Please don't kill me.
Why would we kill you? We're clearly not here for that. We encountered one of your fellow miners. He escaped from the mine.
The head pops back up. Which one? What's his name?
Can I do an insight check, see if he's just fucking with us?
Absolutely.
I do not remember his name.
He was bleeding out on the floor.
Sure, he gave it.
Bigger concerns than asking his name.
There's no fuckery going on as far as you can tell. He's genuinely paranoid. As you
We
guys,
can describe him to you.
as you mention that you have no name, he just ducks back down. I don't believe you! Liars and cheats!
He had a large laceration down his back.
Him and everyone else! And by him I mean... not him, because...
What is going on here?
You would know. You're one of them, aren't you?
I'm a cleric. I'm not one of them.
Give me a
What is
persuasion.
going on here?
Hey, Pupples. Can I pet?
Persuasion.
Oh, yeah. Can you let me pet? You still gonna get mad at me when I go in the kitchen?
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's a cunt.
Come on.
Friend, my dog's a little faggot too. Except she just doesn't eat.
Oof.
You're not. You're one of those shadow creatures.
No.
The things lurking. They came out. You're one of them, aren't you?
Does he look anything like a shadow creature?
You see two eyes just barely peek over the crate, nose still hidden. He may be, and it peeks back down.
I'm very much a dwarf.
Lad, I be Drake Dristor, son of Alder. Clearly surely you know him.
The head peeks back up. I've heard the name. Lies and deceit. He kind of peeks back down.
Okay. It is clear this man has not been burdened with an overabundance of intelligence. What are we going to do about this?
There's nothing
Yeah.
behind. Run that way. We won't
Yes.
attack you. Go that way.
He won't believe that. Let's just continue.
You're not safe
Look,
here.
friend, we can describe the miner that we spoke to previously. We got a good look at him. We tended to his wounds.
To his
He sent us
wounds?
here to come and help you.
Who?
We don't know his name. He was barely conscious.
What did he look like?
Bleeding out in the middle of Townville.
What did he look like? I mean, I don't know what his physical description is, but I will share it with the new miner.
Okay, give me a persuasion. Give you advantage because you guys did tend to him for a little while. Not the best, but given that he was fucked up, it's what it looked like. You describe it as best you can, and slowly but surely the head begins to peek back up out from behind the crate. Yeah, that sounds like Alden. Wait, was it Alden?
Might have been Alden. I mean, he didn't say he wasn't Alden, so
It's an Alden thing to do. Alright? I believe you. Don't kill me.
had no plans to anyway. Look, what is all this about shadow monsters? What is going on here?
Slowly but
Like
surely,
your friend
again,
Alden, if it is
the-
Alden, he was ruined when he turned up in town.
Yeah, and the shoulder comes out first, and then you see him kind of sidestep out into view, and you can see a human again, shoulder length hair that is in a tattered mess. Clothes are about as fucked up as the miner you encountered in town, supposed Alden, and he maneuvers his way towards you, just shuffling slowly. You can see he's got similar lacerations, just blades and daggers cut into his flesh. Nowhere near as deep. He seems to have gotten better off. Yeah. And gotten away better off. And as he comes into the torchlight in full view, you can see he's very shaken and skeptical of you all. Alright, yeah, I believe you. Oh, fucking town dogs. Hey! Gibby!
Damn, the dog followed us all the way here.
If Holden sent you, are you here to help? Oh, please tell me you're here to help.
Came the whole way here to do nothing at all. Of course, we're here to help.
Oh, thank God. As long as you're not them. Those things, they came out.
What are they?
He leans in and... I don't know. They were short, lanky little fuckers. They clung to the shadows. They were sneaky.
Where did they come from? When did they appear?
We were excavating the main chamber. I don't know. Suddenly there was a scream and a yell for help, and they were everywhere. A whole lot of them.
You dug too deep, friend.
I don't know what they were. What were they?
I don't know either. I won't know until I see it.
Your description is a bit vague, and your friend's description was more so. It's very difficult to tell what this is.
At this, he kind of just drops to 2 knees. No, please. Listen, they are two legs, yeah? They had weapons, they brandished them.
That narrows it down, things, yes?
Yeah.
Keep going.
They brandished weapons.
Yes, bold little fuckers.
Skin, height.
I'm gonna point to the halfling. Maybe about you. Yeah, shorter, maybe a little taller. They were short.
Perhaps.
All right. That's as short as we are.
He points towards Eric specifically when he says this.
Any distinctive other features? Long ears, sharp teeth, claws, tail, anything?
Takes into consideration a moment.
Body hair.
No, balding, I think. As far as I could see, bald, yeah.
Bald.
Being a dwarf and having mind.
What this is?
Would I know what this is?
Give me.
Can I make a check as well, or aid him? I'm
You're not
out of character. I'm pretty sure I know what this is.
You're not aiding him in his own memory, so no. But
I mean, just recalling what these things might be.
You guys can take checks separately. Give me history checks with disadvantage.
I have no idea.
Would I know?
Fuck.
Like maybe my father taught me
16.
anything about creatures with his description.
I didn't hear
An
what did he say?
interesting creature you've gone for, though. I am quite pleased with this.
Oh, nice roll right there.
Oh man, spicy. As all of you guys kind of take this in, I mean, it's strange. Baltair and Catherine, you guys especially, I mean, short creatures, weapons sneaky. Your minds immediately go towards goblins, something of that nature. Alyosha, I mean, you have familiarity with mines and digging deep, and I mean, that's not a goblin thing to do. Not normally, anyway. I mean, you've encountered some, but not normally. You're not 100% sure, but there's something vaguely gnomish in these descriptions.
Evil leper gnomes, dude.
I can't say this for absolute certain, but this sounds like something gnomish in nature.
Why would gnomes?
Not friendly gnomes, not cute, cuddly gnomes that you see out in the world.
I don't think most.
Dark,
But
dark gnomes.
Is dark gnomes really a thing?
Gnomes that dig deep.
There are dark gnomes.
are those a thing?
Deep gnomes? They're called
They are.
something.
They are indeed.
What? Deep? What? No, it could have been gnomes, could it? Why would they stoop to something so low? No pun intended.
Well,
Not
not
friendly.
Bolter! Well, I don't know that that's your name, but I'm assuming it is. You're talking and there's no words coming out of your mouth.
Well, I merely commented to myself that you clearly intended to make that pun. That's all.
No, I didn't. I swear it. Don't kill me.
rude.
But he kind of, still on both knees, shuffles his way towards you, Alyosha, and do you think it could be? Why would they do that? Why would they take us and kill us and... No.
I don't know, friend. I truly don't. We'd have to ask them ourselves.
What do you think they could be specifically, huh? Really gnomes?
Yes, there are indeed more, for lack of a better word, feral forms of gnomes.
I never even heard of that. How could it be?
We have encountered a few, where I come from. It's a normal part of Maine. They are not very nice. But if they have your companions, hopefully they haven't done something too terribly awful to them yet.
I think it's ghost.
What?
No one got a clear look from these two gentlemen.
Well, you're gonna deal with them though? Can I can't stay here. I can't, please.
We're gonna save all that we can.
You're going to try, yes.
And at that, he kind of clambers up to his feet and dusts himself off, which does a little. I mean, there's soot and just, he's a mess.
Your friend made it all the way to Prim. We suggest you probably head over there.
Yeah, Prim. I can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he kind of just starts backtracking away from you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, God. And he just turns on tail and bolts it as fast as he can. And you
Be careful, there are loose rocks. Okay.
He's in for quite a walk.
Out of ace. Not good.
Oh.
What have I done? What have I done? Need more A's. Kill me now.
Gnomes as a whole are very clever enough themselves. These even more so.
Yeah, but I can't see a
Be
gnome
careful.
having a bunch of miners and taking them in their mine.
These are not ordinary gnomes.
I don't know
Whatever
anything.
it is, we should be on our guard. We'll let that in.
I don't see anything ahead, so we have a ways to travel. I don't know how deep they dug these mines. They did find a pack of deeper gnomes than, well, they must have.
Well, if we don't know how deep, we best get to walking.
Aye, hop to it.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Let's go, avast ye.
When we played D&D, Dan pretty much just whispering me a line.
Yes, Talia should have lived his life in mines. He's just
So
very
terrible.
confidently walking through dirt and stuff. Like these tunnels are nothing to him. Just kind of just easily.
It's only ending today. It's pretty late, right?
Pretty soon here. So, you guys, make your way forward, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, as said, it
Yeah.
seems to, literally, you can tell they dug, not necessarily deep, but kind of consistently, just going straight as far in as they could into the mountain. This more narrow, straight passage doesn't have any sort of mining into the walls. It's more excavation, it seems, the track following along. But as you reach this T-shaped intersection at the end, you can see Alyosha with your dwarvish mining knowledge and whatnot. You can see, just kind of looking at the walls, that the area to the right is far fresher than the area to the left. The left having been carved first, clearly, much older, and it looks as though they've dug pretty deeply into this one side. You can see black, glassy spots in the walls. Very few, kind of just slight slivers. Things that are still left over. Things are still excavating at. And then on the right side is the track. Levels out that way. What expands into a much, much larger chamber, and glistening in the torchlight along the ceiling, the base, the various walls, the same glassy obsidian material. As it slowly kind of descends further and further into this large chamber, it is absolutely everywhere. The torchlight illuminating the glass of this material.
It's quite a large chamber ahead. Stay close. Sorry, keep grabbing.
Torch keeps on like bumping you in the head as it's like
I know, right? Ow! Stupid torch.
So make your way in,
Watch
the
where you put
torch
that.
kind of continuing forward, illuminating a larger portion of the chamber. You could see now kind of just gaining further and further sight, really, of the size of this chamber and the extent to which it expands outwards and descends further into the mountainside. You can see numerous mine carts left unattended, ramps heading out, and just piles of this glassy material left all over the place, to where it seems excavations just suddenly stopped. Similar to outside, there are clear signs of struggle, these upheaved footprints and blood coated and dried into the dirt, taking on this dark brownish hue.
But are there like trails?
Give me an investigation.
I'm investigating.
I don't know.
Check out my investigation. Oh, hell yeah.
Dirt.
Oh,
I assume
hell yeah.
Hey.
Fucking iDubbbz. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
God, iDubbbz all day. Alright, so, Catherine, you're the first to kind of pick up on this trail. Most of you are just kind of taking in the chamber, and you, among the footprints, make out a number, easily 3 or 4 long trails of what look to be dragged bodies, similar to what you saw, or what Baltair saw outside, all of them heading sort of towards the northeast, along this ramp where the track ends on the east side. Oh fuck, that's my desk. And as you point this out, everyone, you kind of similarly take notice of this.
There's some drag marks that lead this way, northeast.
Probably where they went then.
What are you guys doing?
Mostly making sure there's something coming up behind. So
Give me a perception.
I'm trying to stick true to whatever direction I feel like they went.
they come from this way.
As I could somewhat realize, yeah, boy. This cesspit of a clothes.
No.
Exactly.
it's a little hot.
That's
Yeah, I saw it. It's
just
alright.
the,
See my D20.
so
as you follow the trail, and the ledge actually surprisingly kind of moves upward momentarily. You see this large kind of black hole in the crevice between the wall and the floor that seems to lead downwards. This small, almost tunnel, really.
Here.
As you yell out "here" and everyone kind of moving their way up, you all suddenly hear this. And I need everyone to roll initiative. As this shadowy movement darts out of the shadow from the side behind you. Dun dun dun.
My initiative bonus is like ridiculous. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a low roll for me.
Nobody rolls lower than me.
do you have advantage on the?
Yep, he's a ranger.
Absolutely.
Oh, my initiative's terrible normally.
Oh no.
Oh,
They don't have their. Oh, 'cause I never made that button. Awkward. And Memento for favor. Just shoot them easier. Taking bets on what these are.
unfortunately, it is like 1 a.m. here.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're not getting like into finish time.
Break.
We're not actually starting this combat. We're just rolling initiative for next time.
Cannot hear you at all.
Didn't need first time. Yeah, we're not starting this combat. Just rolling initiative for next
Okay.
time.
Okay, good.
Gonna roll theirs real quick. They are getting surprised round, unfortunately.
Damn you, cliffhangers!
Oh my god,
Come
where?
back next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the time. Huh, wow. Cave this whole time. It's hard to keep track of time.
That's
Oh,
true.
That's no good. That's an 18.
Oh,
So,
no.
as you guys hear this sudden yelling sound, you turn around and see this shadowing movement dart out from behind various walls, cliff sides, pillars. You see these small, gnomish size, maybe 3 feet at most, some of them much smaller, bald heads and these beady red eyes darting back out at you. They linger for a second as these, I mean, really, they look like evil minions from Despicable Me. They're not deep nodes, they are parts. Come charging
They are indeed.
straight towards you, and that is what we will pick up on next time.
What is it?
Oh man.
They're farts? What?
Farts.
Getting excited.
XVART.
Ah.
Let me get you the image.
Yes.
Well, I'm not gonna look at that. So that's fun.
They literally look like evil minions from Despicable Me. There you are.
So like yellow.
Holy
yellow-
shit, it's huge!
Yep, they're about 20 feet wide, but only 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Why? Oh my goodness. I wasn't sure what its eyes were.
And that is what we will deal with next Monday. Tuesday.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Tuesday for me.
Right.
I'm in full holy window mode.
Alright. Good night.
Peace
Night.
out, everyone.
Hi guys.
Toodle and a
Oh
hoop.
man.
Yeah, smart. It's pretty cool.
I'm a big fan. Saw those and I was like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, but like as soon as you described them, I was like, I know exactly what this is. I was very excited because this is something